rolling.
Oh, there we go. Mics are actually on now.
All right, now we on. Mic check, mic check. A little early,
Early show. There we go. Audio sounds. How do we sound, guys? Those of you who are out there in chat, saying hello. If you are watching the show, make sure you guys drop those likes wherever you see it. Good reviews on the audio platforms.
Yes.
All of the algorithm things that can help wherever you hear us.
We need all the algorithm. Robert Jones, what's going on? Zenthos, what's up, man?
I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. I really am.
What's going on? What you do?
No, we did push day.
recovering?
No, we just did push day today. My wife and I.
Nice.
Chest was just not that heavy, but volume. But then triceps after doing some shoulders, so like triceps got it doubled up. So yeah, it's gonna be triceps are gonna be like, hey, how's it going? It's one of those where I'm like, I just don't want it to cramp.
Yeah.
Don't cramp. Actually, it's the weirdest thing. A lot of things on me normally don't cramp. I've had the occasional rare like calf cramp, but the one that
you must struggle with that. One.
Honestly, not as much as you would think. Thank God. Knock on wood. No, the weirdest one is if I work biceps, I will tell you that will cramp. Probably if I go a little extra on biceps, my biceps will cramp easier than most things. It's weird. Like triceps, I would always get this weird little twitch, like right back here. This weird little twitch. But like biceps, if I work them hard in a day, and then I go to like reach up and wash my hair in the shower or something, or I go to like, take a drink and you do a full curl, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, like no. No,
you get the lock up. Like
no,
just a lock.
No, but like if it's here, that's the cramp would go this way. So that's why it's like to make sure it doesn't cramp, I'll extend it, kind of thing.
Interesting.
So it's
what you might want to do, check that potassium intake, brother. Check.
Oh, I mean, I get plenty. It's just like if I work biceps, they just cramp easier. Like I'm usually not bad on cramps. Like normally I'm okay.
That's interesting. I don't never really have that issue. I mean, obviously I have what we call the DOMs, right? The delay.
Oh yeah. 1 or 2 days. Yeah, that was leg day. That's quads are still talking to me from a couple days ago.
God, like you remember what you did?
Yeah. You're like, what'd you do? Well, we did lunges, so I can't sit on the toilet. That's what happened. Lunges get my glutes. I don't do them that much because my knees have been unhappy for a little while. But when I do lunges, and I've done like good volume lunges, can't sit on the toilet. It can't sit. Now, like quads is like getting up and sitting down. It's like trying to use your quads, but it's bigger. It's not as bad. It's like the cheek soreness when you're doing glutes.
Cheek soreness is real.
It is like toilet seats are not cushions, so when you just sit down, it's like
fact, because you're like,
yeah, and then you settle in and you're like,
oh wow, you don't want to move, get up for a while.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
Oh man, shout out to the DOMs, no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh man. What else we got? Early show, awesome one. Yes. The Travis, he's got things going on. So, we pivoted. We'll talk about it.
Where he's popular man. Can't keep him down.
He gets Hollywood on us every now and then.
Travis is the epitome. Travis
got no bougie on us.
Yeah.
Nah, that man working.
We're lucky we got invited to that wedding because I don't know if I'm ever going to dress nice enough for that.
No. Big one.
All right. We've been recording for a little bit. Everything sounds good. Early show. Here we go. Yeah. Why not?
Let's do it.
4. Hold on.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know if you heard it, but when I went like that, when I was like, to do this, my finger hit the microphone shock mount, and it was like, ping! I'm like, all right, hold on. Try this again.
All right. And we are live. The last word, Lord Cognito and Ebontis, fresh on that early, somewhat Destiny Campfire, somewhat Flashpoint vibes as we're missing our wayward child today. He is not here.
Travis being our child is more fitting than probably half of you realize.
Yes, absolutely. Our wayward child, our scion in arms, unfortunately, getting away from the 2 cabals. But what's up, E? Let's talk to the cheetah. How we doing, man?
Doing good. Been hanging out with a bunch of pals for a minute. Got invaded by love fans and other things. No, having fun with that. Wanted to jump into Enshrouded as well. Just got access to that one. Looks like Skull and Bones is about to have a beta. Suicide Squad starts. What day is that, dude? Hold on.
These games, bro.
Suicide Squad is Tuesday. And then I need like a calendar. Thank you for keeping the show going, even though D2 is a bit dry right now.
Love.
We are at episode 281. We are hitting 300 hell or high water. I'm telling you that now, because we got to at least break that mark for Travis and everything else. Travis, of course, got to do his Infinity Gauntlet. He was on Unlocked. So if you guys do want to catch up on Travis, he was on IGN's Unlocked with Ryan and Destin, talking all things Palworld since he reviewed it.
Nice.
So shout out to him. But no, show's not going anywhere, at least not for anytime soon. There may be trade-offs of who's in town and stuff like that, but it's kind of our way to connect because we're on all sides of the country. It's our way to kind of keep touch every week. But yeah, like played pretty good amount of Power. Like just kind of saw Palworld exploding. Was like, I kind of need to get on this. As a creator, I feel like I feel like there was a point I saw Palworld even come through Twitter and like I could have applied for earlier access. And I should have, obviously, when you see the sales. So it's kind of one of those, but you never know on all of it. You don't. So it's kind of the thing where it's like, I could have had earlier access, may have had something ready, but it's like, you could have done that and been like, is this thing going to go off? Is this worth the video? And then like, just would have been smarter to be ready. But I'm actually having fun with it. Like, that's the thing. It's this weird. So, haven't played Pokemon in a long time. Played it older on Game Boy, played a little bit here and there, seen kind of even like, Skill, for example, kind of bashes the recent Pokemons because they haven't done a lot. They've also been really unoptimized, like Breath of the Wild for doing what it's doing. Now, granted, it's Nintendo, but they make it run as probably good as it can. Mario Odyssey, it's pretty damn smooth when you play through that. I don't really have major issues there. But when it comes to, Pokemon in general, it's like, it feels like it has been a lot of the same for a while for a lot of people. And it needed this kind of like reinvention. Now, I had heard everyone was called this Pokemon with guns. That's what everybody heard. That was heard it a while ago. You're like, this looks ridiculous, kind of goofy. But what they don't tell you is it's the survival base aspect of the pals paired with their jobs. Now, granted, Travis jokes about slave labor and everything else, which is just horrible, but it's like there's a lot of bad jokes. There's a lot of bad jokes in this one. I mean, you can actually throw the spheres at some of the human enemies that are out there and capture them. Done that a couple of times, and then you can sell them on the black market. It's just all wrong. It's so wrong.
Can you make the humans work? No,
but you can put them in a zoo and just have them stand there. So they're just in like this display case. So there's there's like a display case. And if you put pals in there, they won't like get hungry or anything, but they also won't function for a job. So then if you turn around, if you have you can have a vendor, like you could capture a vendor if you get them on low health and then bring them back to your base. And the nice thing about that is you have a vendor access all the time.
Oh, so he got to do the vendor job?
Yeah, so he's a vendor in your base, so you've just always got access to somebody to sell, which is cool.
I can't.
The humans are terrible for doing work. But it's all of that horrible jokes and everything aside.
Yes.
You have, it's one of the first ones you get. You're like, oh, there's this Cativa or whatever. It's a cat. So you got a little cat pal. But it's the thing is like, if he's part of your party, all of a sudden you have 50% extra weight, 50 pounds more weight capacity or whatever it is. And then if you put 5 of them on your team and you're early on in the game and these guys are like level 1 or 2, all of a sudden your weight that you can carry would go from like 300 at the base to 550. And if you're going out on farming runs in the early part of a game, which it is more of a survival game probably than anything, combination of things, but you've got now near double the capacity from just this one pal. So there's different ones that do different jobs, and it's those things. It's like, okay, so I've got my stove for cooking. You're like, okay, normally I would have to sit there and cook my food. Well, now you have a kindling pal, so it's a fire one, like Foxsparks, who you can just sit there and be like, okay, I need to cook, 100 of these berries, because berries are an easy thing you come by for a while at first. Okay, I'm going to go off on a run, do what I'm going to do, come back. I've got 100 berries cooked because Foxsparks is sitting there. And then I've got ingots that I need to melt ore down. And I've got you know, Foxpark's sitting there just like keeping the kiln or the furnace cooking the entire time while I'm gone. And then you've got farming. So you've got these like little chipmunks that will plant stuff. Then you've got a penguin that'll come and spray water and water the plants. Then you've got other ones that are going to come around and gather, like basically doing the harvesting. So this whole farm cycle, once you get enough of the pals working, it goes through like the gathering, the watering, the harvesting. You've got some that will do logging and mining. And what's up, addicts? Love the non-Destiny talk last org. Ask Cog about black people in water and Pal. God, that's a fun one.
It's a fun story.
The game. Okay, well, yeah, this I got to hear because this is a super chat, and now I got to have the fun story that I don't get canceled for.
No, you can cancel. You good. I can say it.
You can. I can't. You can. It's better that way.
So pretty much out the attic. First of all, my man is in the airport right now. Most likely, he's on a layover, stuck before he can get home. So he's got a 3-4 hour layover. Oof. So he definitely got good internet access. He probably's in that airport United Sky Club, which I told him to do when you're in the layover. So do that. So yes, shout out to that awesome one. Absolutely awesome. So here's the thing. So I'm playing Power. I'm like, yo, give me some basic, because remember, you gotta understand, I've never played Pokemon in my life.
Oh, I haven't in a while, but I played survival games recently, which seems
I have no concept of it, right? So my man, he's not in the Sky Club. He's just in the airport chilling. All right, so basically, he's like, "Don't worry, I got you. Let me see where you are in the game." So I'm moving around. He's telling me how to build just the basics, right? I'm like, all right, cool. So then we run it around. And first of all, I like my character, smooth. The complexion is right. Got my little gold. He looks like Cog. I'm like, all right, this is not too bad, right?
Yeah.
Cog and Breath of the Wild. So for whatever reason, we jump in the water.
Like the menu occasionally, the text that pops up, and like there's definitely there's a lot of inspiration, but we'll get to that later.
Yes. So we jump in the section where there's water, and I come out. Why black people in Palworld look like they got dipped in silver? Like this part of our body looks like
water gives you this like silver look.
Yeah.
Is that one like? Oh, that's weird.
It's mad weird. Me and Attic, I looked. He's like,
I mean, it is your dream. It is your dream with the Silver Surfer. I mean,
that part. But why black people got to go through this? I was like, I'm gonna file a complaint.
I think that's more the transparency, like slider on the water needs to be lower.
All skin in water for some reason. Because I was like,
you got dunked in the adamantium tank, and then when you come out, they gotta shake the silver off of you, the metal off of you. So
I'm gonna start a petition. Now let me start. It was funny, but anyway, back to your story. So you're doing your thing, you're building. I want to hear because you advanced level. I want to hear.
I'm like level 32, 31, 32. Yeah, I've got like 30 hours in.
So you unlock the guns. You're already.
I'm getting the guns. I've been using the crossbow a lot. The guns definitely kick up the damage when you get to certain points. Like I can pick off low level guys with just one crossbow arrow bolt, so it's very ammo efficient right now.
Okay.
I'm finally finding sulfur for gunpowder, so I can start getting that together. So that's what I was kind of waiting on the guns for. Went and done more exploring and things, and making content sometimes slows you down. But you've got the base, which can occasionally get invaded, and whether it's like some of the human guys, sometimes there's like the love monster, which is hilarious. So it's a lizard. Well, first off, in the pal deck.
Well, I'm in there. They got the pal deck. Cognito. They got Cognito. You ain't see them?
I saw that one.
Yeah, they got him.
But the $2 super chat, I don't know if I asked. Was that normal? No.
No, it's not normal.
But the idea is, so occasionally it will say like loving fans are raiding your camp or something, and they're these like, hold on, I gotta send you the.
Yeah, send me this.
Hold on.
This? First of all, it sound wild crazy. The love monster. That sound wild crazy.
Here, this is gonna go into our direct chat.
All right, let me see. Hey yo, what do you want?
So if you don't, the love monster is pretty much what I would say is got like the head of a dragon, kind of the body of kind of a kangaroo is what I'm probably more picking up. And then the chest is this big heart puff.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that can move a little bit. And then it's got heart underwear with very minimal coverage.
Yes.
Yes. And these are the loving fans. And in the PAL deck, they are PAL number 69.
They having fun with
They
this.
do. They like that is the kind of epitome of everything. They are having fun with way too much stuff in here, and I think they didn't take themselves too seriously with a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a point just to where I have giant guys waddling around my base, and then one sits down in a bath and basically is not even in it. I think I saw another picture where the dinosaur looks like he's almost just going to the bathroom in the bath because it's so big and things just don't fit. It's early access, but it's like there's a 50 level tech tree to this thing. And as you capture the pals, certain ones will have different abilities. So Fox Sparks, for example, it's the little fire fox. You're going to get a harness for it. And your partner ability is you can pick the Fox Sparks up and it says Huggy Fire is what it's called. And you literally like your ability is you turn it into a flamethrower. So you just walk around and all of a sudden it's like, it's like real powerful early on. It cooks. It truly cooks.
Wow.
I mean, I got a flying mount, so you can get flying mounts, which is a whole crazy thing. You've got ground mounts, which there's an etheric deer, which is like this like majestic looking white deer with like purple horns, kind of looks awesome. And it's got this like really fast charge so you can cover ground. On the other side, you've got a dire wolf, and it is a faster mount than most. And if you can get a dire wolf, I can't get a dire wolf with Swift because the dire wolf is faster than most ground mounts in general. The etheric deer with that charge like flies, but then it kind of pauses and kind of regather itself. If you could get a dire wolf with Swift, it's 30% faster plus however faster it is. You could probably just like cook, like covering the ground.
Oh, they got you. They got wolves. Ooh,
well, like once you go, I have like an airborne. There's some awesome, and they look like they're pretty cool looking. Like now, granted. I don't know what's all ripped off and not. We can get into that a little bit later. But the one there's one I saw. It looks like owls have a really big wingspan.
Yeah.
You ever look at it looks like this thing's like 3 times that. When you see it, it flaps this like huge. And I've only got the preview because I must have like glanced the area that it was in. I haven't captured it. But it is this like huge like nighttime one, and it's got this, and it's just like. It's in Unreal 5. It's got really big depth of like you can see damn near across the map. There's like no clouds or fog or anything like that. I just want to be
clear that this is the Steam version you're playing.
This is the Steam version.
I wouldn't know about this. I wouldn't know about this. But I wouldn't know about these grand distances and this great Unreal Engine. But continue.
Yes. Advantages of PC gaming sometimes. Shout out to Greg Miller, who I want to slap occasionally. He's very much on PlayStation. And I get some things more. And on the other side, I was talking to people in my Discord, and they're like, it's really hard to justify a PC when a PS5 or Xbox is like $500. I'm like, I get it too. Xbox making the right decision, by the way, going for this one. They got the without play. I don't know.
That scouting team.
Yeah. I heard you. I was actually listening to you guys while I was working out today.
Cool.
But yeah, they were like, this is on Xbox and Game Pass, and it still has 8 million in sales. Bro, and that's just Steam. That's not even Game Pass. It's
not to interrupt, cut you.
No,
but it's just
crazy.
Like, it's getting to the point where I have the Twitter account of Palworld on one of my browser tabs. I have to refresh it because every day or every 18 hours, my data is outdated because now they've surpassed the new sales. Like I'm like, they had 6 million. They're like, nah, bro, they've been past it. They're 8. I'm like, oh my god, like this is insane. What is going on with this game? But continue. I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, so I mean, there are towers that will have like this is where you kind of get a little Pokemon inspiration, where it's got like a trainer, and the only one that I've done, it's an electric one. They're chunky. I mean, they have a lot of health. But depending on your build and the multiple pals that you bring in your party, and you could toss them out. Like you could throw one out, have them do an attack, and if you see a big attack charging up, pull them right back into the ball and switch and like trade them in and out. And like one of these is just a big giant electric Pokemon, and you got the like little girl trainer who's like sitting up on the top, kind of guiding him, same way you would like saddle up on any of yours. And so you have boss battles there. You have like little mini dungeons, which are going to be well, there's 2 types. There's like a cave dungeon, which is like a system of caves. They all seem to have pretty similar tile sets, just kind of done in a little bit different order. The map is, I think, I think it's not generated, but like you've got Yeah, it's not procedural for anybody, I'm
Oh, is
pretty
that
sure.
procedural? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think everybody's got the same coordinates of everything is all going to be the same
Okay.
for everybody. But
Got
like
it.
when you go into a dungeon, you're going to see, hey, I've seen this room and this connecting room and this room. They may be in different order, but you will see
Right.
some similarities. They have like little like dungeon, not even dungeon, just like little kind of world boss fights, but they're almost like this little teleporter on the ground. You go down into basically just like a box room with a little bit of cover, and it's just
Mhm.
kind of like the big tower fight, but just a smaller
Mhm.
scaled down version. And those will have leveled up like beefier big ones of whatever that type is, maybe a couple helpers with it, and you can
Mhm.
capture those as like special ones. And there's also shinies that wander around the world. So if you ever heard people talk about Pokemon shinies, it's these ones that
Yes.
glisten. These are like
Mhm.
rare ones, so they're going to have
Mhm.
either more health or they definitely have more size, maybe more attack power and stuff like that. Then it gets into a whole thing where you can start breeding them, which I just got unlocked
Wait,
this.
I didn't know they had this in this.
So
I
there's
didn't know they
breeding them
had
now.
that.
So you can have a male of one and a female of another, and you can crossbreed. So it doesn't matter what the species are. So if you do a male and female, this is how people are finding like certain species in the game they didn't even know existed. So you got like a fire one over here and a nice one over here. You got a couple traits, and they're really trying to get, optimized pals from all the breeding. And you want to know the best part
Mhm.
about the breeding farm
It's almost like
is,
personas. Okay, continue.
well, I was going to say you got one male, one female. Doesn't matter the species, they're going to
Mhm.
make something. But the
Mhm.
only way breeding can happen, you have to cook cake and you have to put it in the box by the breeding farm. So breeding will not happen
You
without
gotta,
cake.
you gotta create a situation.
You gotta make the cake. Um,
That makes it go down. They make the cake, they have a good time, and you leave them alone. What is this, a conjugal visit? What is going on in Palworld? Palworld is wild,
I mean,
y'all.
you have to have dessert after dinner. That's just how dates go. I mean, you got to have dessert.
Now, here's the next question. So the funny thing I keep seeing
That's why
online
I'm not
is
as
that
thin as I am. Dessert.
straight up, we love
Yeah.
cake. So here's the thing. I see a pal, I think called Depresso.
Sorry, somebody in my chat was like, "No cake, no bake." I'm like, "Oh God."
No, yeah, listen,
Hey,
hey, I ain't
we're not.
mad. It got to be the cake.
Got to be
So
cake.
the Depresso dude, like I heard, like you get the little
Oh,
memos, they upset,
yeah.
they mad, they not.
Depresso's
So like
face.
it's hilarious.
Just he's a nighttime Pokemon, only out at night, but just like the name fits the face of just
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
be more.
hilarious.
Don't give a damn. It's that's and they just like they leaned so hard into
So
some of
much
these
into
things.
it.
I mean, you've
Yeah.
got there's like a Goliath, and they just tweak like names. There's like a Goliath ape or something like that, and it's
Mhm.
like this little kind of, I don't know, it's like an ape
Mhm.
monkey situation. Then there's like a little chimpanzee thing. There's
Mhm.
okay, so there's a bee guard, which is like these little bees,
Mhm.
and they have like a weapon. And then there's the Elizabeth.
Mhm.
So the Elizabeth is like the queen bee, and then it'll always
Okay.
have two little bee guards following it around.
Okay, like soldiers on the
Well,
front
and the
line.
best thing is
Okay.
if you can capture a bee guard,
Mhm.
they have this like work suit ability, which tasks they're able to do. And what do you
Right.
know? The worker bee has like 7 of them because it can do like all the jobs. So the worker bee is a worker bee. I saw the Relaxosaurus. I did. I think I may have captured one finally. But yeah, the Relaxosaurus is just like, and that's the thing. Sometimes you're like, hey, I want to capture him. Well, how do you capture any of the pals in this game? You have to beat them up and weaken them or
Yeah.
shoot them or
You got
something.
to beat
So
them into
there's this
submission
like,
and then enslave
yeah,
them.
there's like this little, cute, wonderful plant dinosaur thing, and I gotta go shoot it in the face so I can weaken it. And then I gotta throw the pal spheres at it over and over or get a better one to
That's
capture
why
them.
this game is the greatest.
It's,
Because
yeah,
they are not taking themselves seriously
mm-mm,
on any
no.
level. They having fun. And here's the sad part. The sad part for Nintendo, they really watch out, is that the vibe I'm getting from the Pokemon community is like, bro, this is what we've been wanting you guys to advance the series. Let's get it out of turn
Yeah.
based. Let's open world it. Now you got some UE5.
Yeah, live
you got
action
that
combat now? Yeah.
yeah, live action combat. And now you got the multiplayer aspect cooking. Like the things
Oh,
I'm
yeah, no
hearing.
offense. I'm probably never gonna get into Nintendo's circle, so I'm not really too
Yes.
worried about that. If I could
All right,
play
let's go.
like, I don't know, the next Metroid or something, I'd love to, but that's
Mhm.
17,000 years away.
Fair enough.
No, when it comes to, as you said, what Pokemon hasn't done, I don't know what podcast I was listening to. Could have been you. I cannot remember. but it was phrased that like Zelda was reborn with Breath of the Wild. They have the open world, the stamina, go anywhere, and then the whole system with the recent Tears of the Kingdom. With now you've got engineers in here making contraptions and mechs and stuff. Like they've done stuff. Pokemon has been the same stuff for so long. Turn-based, basic stuff, unoptimized,
bad
runs
engine.
poorly. Yeah, bad engine, all that stuff. As you said, you've got UE5, you've got co-op. Now, Xbox is 4-player co-op. Steam has actual like 32-player servers, which I know that'll probably go more places. The live action combat, like I'm sitting there, I can do an action game dodge roll out of the way of like an attack coming my. So I'm sitting here dodging while I'm like, shoot, dodge, roll over here, dodge, shoot. And, like, and this is in a Pokemon game. You're not doing that in Pokemon. You got, I mean, I've just all of a sudden mount. I don't know if you can go on a mount on a Pokemon, but you've got the 3D verticality now where I'm flying around on 3D mounts. And there are some legendary ones. They're so fast. There are some in-game pals that you can try and capture, which are going to be hard with like hyperspheres and level 50 and all that. But it looks like a damn near, I think it's called a jet dragon, not joking, like Jetta Dragon or something like that. And it looks like it's got little turbines in like it's like kind of back shoulders or something. So it just it flies through the air fast. Yeah, it's zooming.
Oh man, that's crazy. I got a question before you go, because we talk about the base building. Obviously, you can put the pals to work. They're doing it. All of them have different skill set. You're doing that. Now, the question I have is, what happens when you are not attending to the needs of the pal? Because obviously they complain or whatever.
So I haven't had too much of an issue on that.
Okay.
When you go through your pal box where you store all of your pals in your base, and you can have multiple bases, the pal box will store them. But as you go to upgrade your base, it's also going to tell you what things to build.
Okay.
So as you follow through, if you work on upgrading the PAL box, it's going to give you the basic necessities for a lot of stuff. Like one of the things is a little hot springs. Every so often, they're going to go hang in the hot springs so their sanity is okay. So it's their way to relax.
Got you. Working conditions. Okay.
Yeah. So and you can build multiple of those if you want. There's a feed box, so you can always make sure they have food. So if they're like, and you want to make sure, and part of it too, and I think this is one of the things like Tassie was talking about, the pathing is not great. Like the AI path of where to go to do X thing, not the best.
Yeah.
So if you have a feed box, but like, here's this stuff you can work on, here's this stuff you can work on, you put a feed box right in the middle, they're like, oh, they're hungry, dink, dink, and they go back. So like my guys in my base, they're really not too bad. Occasionally one will get like a stomach ulcer, and I think those are like,
stomach ulcer.
Literally, it'll say like an ulcer, and you got to go make a little medicine and heal them up and stuff like that. So there's, I mean, that's like a random thing. I think that's more just
they got care for them. Like there's conditions, there's ailments.
It's like random ailments will happen. Somebody's like weekend, you got to give like, you know, they need to sleep for a while, and you can just put them back in the PAL box and have them hang out in their sphere and just like recover. Or you can kind of treat them with like medicine that you can kind of cook up a little bit. But I mean, that's the idea. You want to make sure they're fed. You want to make sure they have beds. They all have to have beds, or they will not be happy. Yep, they got beds.
Room and board. They got to have room and board.
They got to have food, place to sleep. They got to have hot springs for sanity, so their sanity relaxes. Hot springs is a lie. I don't know if they deserve that. I mean, they got that. I just started building fluffy beds for mine, so they just got an upgrade from normal. Like these are like
hit it with a Posturepedic.
Yeah, I mean, they went from what looked like a square of like, here's a few leaves on the floor, to now it looks like a bed better than what I'm sleeping on. So like they're sitting pretty now. So all of this goes, and then you occasionally, as you go around the world, you're going to find eggs.
Okay.
So you're going to get an egg incubator. It's kind of one of the special things you can unlock on the far side of the tech tree. You'll get these like ancient technology points. You get like a little, like you get one when you beat a boss. You don't get a lot of them.
So they're very rare. They're
very rare.
Currency. Okay, this is
so you get the egg incubator, and I'll fly around. Now, there's a part of the map to the west of probably where most people start, and I went on my flying mount. I was like, hey, I'm going to go see what's over here. Well, I realized it was hot. What I didn't realize, my flying mount is also a fire pal, so I was on a fire pal in a hot area, and I had no fire resistance armor on, so I was I was basically kind of jumping, like going very slowly, and I went around this whole massive island slowly but surely. But while I was out there, I think I picked up like 14 different eggs, because there's regular size eggs, there's large eggs, there's huge eggs, which take like 2 hours of gameplay to actually hatch. But what those
Mm.
things will do, I have pals that I have never seen from these eggs. You
Oh,
can
wow.
unlock variations from the eggs.
Wow. Oh, there's variants in it for the pals?
Yeah, there's this little like hedgehog that's like an electric one. Well, I got a variant and there's a frost one.
Okay.
So that's why I was
And
for a
he
game that
doesn't.
is, I think
Yeah, that's
Tassie,
neat.
well, I was going to say Tassie's tweet, and he's like, why is this my biggest tweet ever? And it was the one where I think it
What
was
was it
an
gonna say?
article. Got to look it up now because I don't want to say it wrong. Hold on.
Tassie got a tweet that
Tassie had a tweet that
about
blew up,
Palworld?
but God only knows how buried it is in his Twitter thread.
No.
It was today. Yeah, I was like, of course, but no. Oh yeah, like Outriders devs got hit today. More things got. I mean, Microsoft got smashed today, but I saw Outriders
Yeah,
too.
it was crazy.
It was basically one. I think he was retweeting. It might have been a Kotaku article.
Okay.
And it was something along the lines of, "Hey, this is a game that feels like a big trap," or something like that. And then all he replied to it was just like, "It's $27 and has no microtransactions." Like, what are you trying to call this game out for? Now, granted, there's a whole lot of questions about how it was made, and AI, and very similar to the world of Pokemon and stuff like that. Now, granted, Hogue has said, and Hogue has come out and said, I don't really think there's that much of a case. Like, there's similarities, but I think the survival game gives them a lot to, like, it's a different game.
Yes. Oh, at its core,
yeah,
there's so many elements. You have the survival elements, the monster hunting elements. Yeah, you have the Pokemon style throw the ball thing, but that's not the only part of the game. And Pokemon's turn based, right? The thing that everyone is concerned about, which I get, which is the creature similarity. Because Attic did show me some Pokemons, and it was like Anubis and this one, and Lucario and this one.
Okay, here's the tweet. Okay, so you're a gamer. Playing Palworld gives off the impression of playing a product designed to be sold rather than to be played. You will feel like a mark, and you'll be right. That's their early impressions. And Tassie's reply to it was just like, or like quote was basically, "This game costs $27 with no microtransactions." I mean, it's got 48,000 likes and 2.8 million views. Like, that is a massive tweet, but it was just like, oh, and then Destiny Bulletin right under him was like, and Destiny 2 is, quote, free to play. And it's a picture of all of the expansions and things you can buy on Steam. It's that horrible thing. And it cost $564 to buy it all. And also, and then Tassie was like, it doesn't even have the this is probably a more interesting picture for you, for the angle. Bam.
Yo. That's wild.
Yeah. So
hilarious.
Now, when it comes into the egg incubator where you can hatch is cool because, as I said, I keep getting, and I found massive when I was on that weird long, like I was basically hovering in the beach. I would go as long as my flying mountain would get me, then I would drop into the water and kind of swim up to the beach, make sure I was cool and not cooking, and then kind of go along the beach line until I could. Then I got on the mountain, then it was too hot again. So just the whole region I was in, I shouldn't have been there, kind of thing. Should have been there. But so there's this like outline on my map right now that is around this entire like end game area where I hovered the outside, but there were so many eggs out there.
Wow.
And I brought back a ton, and some of them are like your weight capacity is like X number of pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
It starts at 300, mine's up to like 700, 750, something like that. Some of the eggs were like 10. Then the medium ones are 25. Some of the eggs were 50 pounds. These things were massive eggs. So when I hatch them, all of a sudden I've got this like fire lion wolf thing that takes up half of my, they're huge. So I'm just, so that's like the stuff that you can just randomly trip into. And, but that's kind of the idea of like the egg and breeding. Some people will take certain things to breed together. And there's some people who are also putting together charts and stuff, like the community's coming together to figure it all out.
Oh my God.
It's
pretty expensive.
There's way more depth than I would have thought. I mean, if you just see the animation, you're like, okay, 50 level check tree. Half the stuff is grayed out until you actually find the pals to get their specific harness, whether it's a riding harness. Now, there are two that crack me up. And they're similar because it's a leaf monk, which is like a chipmunk or a squirrel. And then there's the tansy, which is like a little green chimpanzee. Both of these have like 4 to 6 different work suitability things. Like they can gather and plant and do logging and harvesting and also transport. They can do like 5 or 6 different things. But at around level like 14 or 15, they get these partner bonuses that you can unlock for them. One, for example, is like Daydream. It's this like flouting little purple void cloud thing. And what happens is if you get the collar for it, and if you have them in your party, yes, it's a collar. But anyway, I know they're all. I mean, it's a collar, it's a harness, whatever. But like the Daydream, if you have 4 of them in your party, they're with you the entire time. So instead of like throwing, you know, the sphere out and then having one buddy with you, these 4 are just here.
Oh, they with you, they rolling.
And then you could throw your 5th main one out, and then you're just rolling with an army because those could be with you. So you could do that. But the Tansy and the Chipmunk both have the ability to. The Chipmunk will stand on your head and has a submachine gun that all of a sudden it just starts to unload if you choose it to activate its partner skill. And the Tansy can be, you know, your partner out there if you throw it out. And if you hit partner skill, it's going to pull out an assault rifle and go to town.
This is the greatest show. I'm telling you,
it is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that's kind of the thing. It is absolutely ridiculous. That's the whole point.
Let me jump in, because this is for me. Like, as Maddie teases me and Addict teases me, because also they know, like, I don't usually do, as an older gamer, I don't usually do the cutesy stuff as much as as I did in the past. But one thing you can get me is if you got violence or you got some really funny, you don't take yourself seriously and you have fun with it, like, now you got my attention. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, let me see what's going on. So for me, my experience is short. I was got like 3 or 4 hours in it. But
I went long on my section. My bad.
No, you could, because you had. I wanted you to. You had the most experience. I had the least. So my thing is, obviously this week is crazy to be Tekken and Infinite Wealth. At the same
it's like
time,
you're gone soon.
Yeah, I'm going. So I was like, let me just try to get some Palworld in, just because, like you said, I'm hearing the craze. What is this, right? Yep. And then obviously shout out to Travis last week. He's like, bro, I got the preview up on IGN. It's hilarious. He talking about the enslavement portion. He talking about all these different motions. I'm like, all right, let me get into it. The vibe I got at first was just coming out of the cave was actually a little Breath of the Wild inspiration. I was like, all right.
Oh no, the sounds, almost the font. Occasional moments, I'm sitting there going,
bro. Yeah, I'm like, people talk about Pokemon. I'm like, I'm getting Breath of the Wild. The way you pick up the stones, just the way like certain things. I was just like, this feels very Link-ish. But I'm like, all right, cool.
A little bit.
So you do just a little bit. But the thing I noticed was, again, a lot bit. The thing I noticed right off the bat for me, as a person who historically does not like survival games, like one of the few was like Grounded that got me.
Yeah, that one got you.
How you get me is what Palworld does is they have a series of tasks for you to do. It's a lot of hand holding, which I like, because it was like, okay,
you're a hand holder. You need a little guide. Be like, sir, where do we go next? Thank you.
Yes,
I just need I need guidance through this linear pathway game, and I need to know exactly where to go straight forward with. Please don't make me wander off and figure out my own fun. I don't want to do that.
I don't like them games where they don't tell you the ingredients. That was a little harsh. And they want you to get, 7 twigs, 8 berries, and this, and then you made a raft or something. Like, I don't like them games. Like, I want the game to tell me what I need to build such and such, what you need to do next, and then it holds your hand enough and restricts you to kind of make sure you do the core gameplay elements. Get your little PAL base, create a PAL ball, start mining ore by pressing the Y. But I'm talking about the console experience. Yeah. It's really intuitive. Now, granted, on Xbox, it's a little framey, a little
I've heard that.
So I'm like, okay, cool, you early access. But
UE5, I will say UE5, I don't think people realize how heavy that engine is. And by heavy, I mean like, it takes some powerful hardware to push it. It can do cool things, but I think that's one of those, oh, look, it's on UE5. It's like, it's going to take a hell of a piece of hardware to run really well or really, really well optimized. But anyway, go ahead.
No, absolutely. And the thing about it, too, is like shout out to Robert Jones. Yeah, like I was like, this got a little bit of Ark Survival Evolved. This got a little bit, it's survival. It's, when you get the Pokeball, yes, it is Pokemon on that part, right? That part. But I was just amazed at, like, when I finally captured my first one, this little cute sheep looking thing.
Yep. Lamball.
And then, And then I got him, and then he's rambunctious getting into it with other pals while we walking around. I'm like, yo, I didn't know that they fight for you and do all this foolishness. So I'm like, all right, this is crazy. Other thing I had struggled at first, I was just like, all right. I remember when the nighttime mechanic came, I was like, bro, you got to make a bed, you got to get the torch, you got to do this, you got. So it just took me a little while, but once I got past that, I have to say the onboarding for a guy that never played Pokemon, a guy that does not play survival games, I thought was fairly solid. And remember, this is an early access game, right? That is from my understanding, 60% complete, right?
I haven't even heard the percentage. I know they're working on like bigger stuff and plans, but yeah, very much early access right now. And that's when I say this is early access. I'm like, damn.
It's pretty impressive. And to me, the thing that you got to look at, you got to look at the
analytics. They have their funding, by the way.
Oh, you think? Right?
$200 million later. Yeah, we got a bit of a budget.
Bro, the thing that you got to look at is why is this thing taking off? So what it shows me is that desire from the Pokemon community or whoever that has been wanting a game like this, that have been wanting them to evolve. And look, I get it. This momentum is not stopping. It's going to be very curious for Microsoft in terms of obviously they're scouting. They was able to, find this and put this in Game Pass. I will say, this, when you see inertia like this early, this reminds me of early Fortnite, early PUBG, early Minecraft. And it's interesting to see where this thing's going to go and where it's going to stop, because I have to admit, you saw the roadmap, right? I like the fact that you even got a roadmap already. Yeah, the roadmap's already.
Well, yeah, it's like they got a budget, so they're probably like, all right, let's make the most of what we can. I mean, that's all you can do.
Raid bosses, Pal Arena, Steam Xbox crossplay, bro. There's a lot new islands, bosses, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's insane.
Server transfers, new islands, bosses, technology. I mean, that's the thing, is like they can keep it going. The raid bosses would be interesting, because I wonder, it is all about capturing, and if it's one big one, like, do you all get a version of it, or
right? How does that work, right?
Yeah,
but the fact that they've got that roadmap and literally so fast, and I have to give the team credit as far as the feedback. I heard they like destroyed the Epic Store servers a bunch of times just because of the capacity. I
believe they've messed with a few servers. I'm so low on mine. You can make your world multiplayer if you want to, but I am currently just solo in mine. I've just been trying to go through.
And look at that's the good example too, because I know your playing habits. You tend to play solo, and the fact that you're having that much fun with a game that historically people like to play with friends, and that style of survival games, people like to play. Hey, I got the stones. I'll build this. You do that kind of thing. It's pretty impressive, man. I think, look, sky's the limit. If they can nail the PvP portion and give it extended legs,
I worry about PvP in this actually.
True.
I don't know, because I feel, as somebody who's saying you're going to be throwing Pokeballs at Pal Spheres at each other the whole time. I don't know how PvP would go if you just have like arena battles and stuff like that. I could see a little bit more for bragging rights and things. I wonder how that would go. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's like that was
bosses.
Now, big world bosses like that, I can see. Like, they could probably find, hey, we're going to plop a new island somewhere on the map that you guys haven't seen or have access to at this point. Oh, by the way, when you do get there, there's something standing just towering above anything you've ever seen before. Good luck. And you could have 32 people on a Steam server going for the same big guy. It's some big, and everybody, okay, bring all your fire guys. This is a grass guy, so we got to go after him. I mean, that could be a thing.
Potential's there. And like I said, last thing I'll say is that I do like the fact that they made a statement that before they get into the expansive aspect, they want to address the core issues. And from a stability standpoint, that's good. Look, sky's the limit. We got to see. Look, I get the legal aspect. I get people with the concern there. From my understanding, the developer has used AI in the past. I don't know. There's been no proof that Palworld has used it as of right now. But, even if it did, like I told Maddie, I was like, we're at that point. And this is the thing that the hardcore gaming community has to understand. We're at that point that these developers are going to use the tooling for AI at some point, whether it be independent developer or not. I'm not condoning getting rid of art and voice actors. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is there's going to be a game that's going to hit massive. I literally predicted this like 2 months ago. I had a conversation with Maddie about AI and gaming. And I said, it's going to be big. and people are not going to care because they are having so much fun. And again, I'm not saying Palworld is not proven
right.
yet.
We don't know. We won't know
Right.
until whatever happens down the road.
Exactly. But it is interesting to see. But look, it's just a phenomenon to watch. It's absolutely a phenomenon to watch. And I've never seen anything like this in a while. It reminds me, like I said, that Fortnite type energy. But we'll continue to monitor it and see what's going on.
There was actually a really good discussion. I don't know if you guys ever listen to Play, Watch, Listen. It's Alana Pierce. Troy Baker hasn't been on a while. He was on there in the past. Mike Bithell, he's a game maker. Yeah. And then Austin Wintory. He's the composer for Journey and other stuff.
Absolutely.
I was actually playing through Pathless on my Steam Deck.
Oh, yeah. Arrow with the girl. Yeah. Good game.
Mike Bithell and Austin Wintory have just a really good back and forth discussion about AI, the uses coming from different perspective. Austin Wintory has a really good perspective coming from the music industry because you've got the concept, and again, listen to it because they do a better job talking about it than I do, but it's the idea of Austin Wintory will do a bespoke soundtrack for a game, period. It's what he does. Damn good at it, seems. He said there's other people in the industry who, hey, I released 500 tracks last year, but they just released these tracks to places like to basically stores where you can go buy them, and they hope some of them get licensed. So then you get to quantity over quality, or quantity over specific use case, or maybe this fits here, doesn't get picked up. And then it kind of comes around to the art side. If you use Photoshop for a thumbnail right now in 24, it's got it in it.
Yeah,
I can make stuff that, like, I mean, I've seen advertisements on football games, I think, for this thing. Like, it's
straight up.
Yeah, so I mean, it's in there. So then they talk about, well, hey, now artists who need to work however much harder to be able to keep the work down that they have. We know the market, which we'll get to, is just absolute nightmare at this point. So then it's like, hey, they need to hit this deadline or whatever and be like, well, I've got all this done. What if they just select this corner of the portion, fill in, hey, put a forest background in this back right corner. And all of a sudden it comes together. Maybe it's a concept artist. Maybe it's just one thing here. And it helps. That's the point where there was an interest. One of the quotes in there that I probably won't forget for a little while was, how many times does a stolen car have to be sold to be removed from the crime? This conceptually, it's like, apply that to AI. It's like, okay, so AI right now is not creative. It is not a true like singularity intelligence that makes it on its own. It's just scraping the internet for inspiration and algorithms and puts all that stuff together. So it's like right now, AI doesn't really function without all the stock photos and everything else and what everybody else has created previously. So it doesn't function without that. But then what does it say about the artist who's like, hey, I'm currently making this thing. I've got one more corner. I got 3 other things to do. Can I fill this in? They do that and they move on. Where's the line for the harm? And of course. So when you talk about AI, it's just like, we're in a weird place right now. And I am not going to claim to be an expert. I'm not. And it's like, and I get the point of, hey, is AI going to, I mean, you've seen script writers and stuff right now. It's like, you've seen the scripts that AI is writing. They're not great. They're not really in fear of anything, but it also comes to, my wife has said this too, is AI right now is only getting the information it has from humans.
Absolutely.
So the information it's getting is from what has been put out there by us in the first place. It's not getting its own experiences. So if you go to some actor, at one point I'd listened to, again, I don't have all the quotes for these, but it's like, they said, what advice would you give an upcoming actor? And they're like, go, live, go travel, see the world, experience different things. So that way, when you get to a point where you're called on to like have an emotional call on this emotional experience to act, you're not like, I'm going to go be like that person, be like, I'm going to have the experience that I went through already. So it's just kind of a unique piece of, and it's that thing. It's like right now, there's nothing that has its own personal experiences or unique thoughts. It is just gathering information that already exists. And that's kind of the weird place we're at.
Yeah, we're not at the Skynet phase yet.
No,
Hollywood references. And I think Hollywood does play a role into some fear mongering.
What was that 0 to 60? 5.7, 5.8? I heard.
It's pretty fast. That one. So yeah, like it's one of those things that I look at. Look, of course, I'm a techie. I'm always interested in where the industry is going to go. That kind of stuff. Definitely tantalizes a certain part of my brain to say, okay, where is this going? How is it being utilized? There's one part of me that says, look, from a tooling perspective, to make menial tasks easier. That's the thing, is like the tools, the tooling, right? And then also from a smaller developer who does not have that big publisher backing, does not have that bag, and let's just be honest, they may not be able to afford that talent. And then you're telling them to say, okay, we could utilize this to make a lot of these assets or things that we normally wouldn't have the resources to make. I get that. On the other side, I do understand the ethics. I do understand taking jobs away from people. Obviously, we've had amazing voice actress. Obviously, we had the great Marla on. We've had, a lot of people who are creatives. And the only thing, listen, like you said it best, it's AI is what is ingested into it. Right. It's a tool.
That's all it is right now.
That's all. It's a tool. And a tool can be utilized in good and it can be utilized in bad for corporate greed. So I'm aware of that. And my thing is there has to be at least some form of regulation on it as well. What is ingested.
Well, did you see on like it happened on another Reddit first, and then I think it happened on Destiny Reddit where they trolled. They they trolled the AI and they made up articles on Reddit and they made up a boss and name and everything like this. And all of a sudden some news article BS thing, fake news article. And again, where it's just like AI is scraping Reddit and pumping out an article, but hey, here's a guide about this boss, but it's something that doesn't exist. So it's like the fact that that can still be done is showing you how it all works, which is very funny.
Exactly. Which shows it that it's not perfect and it can be manipulated in certain aspects. So you got that. But look, at the end of the day, I'm just going to be very clear with the people. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. Like, it is come. We are here. We are here, and it is going to continue to come. And the thing now is the implementation. The implementation. How is it utilized? So yeah, I'm just monitoring it. It is a very fascinating discussion, And to see why. The last thing I'll say is this. We already there. Like people have to realize, like when you call a doctor's office and you don't talk to a person.
Oh yeah, we've been doing that for a minute.
We've been doing
automated chat for Best Buy or Amazon, same thing. Hey, what is this? And it fills in. I'm like, can I talk to a human? Because when you're working through some of that stuff, and it's just all algorithms. This is just a different level that we've reached at this point right now.
Exactly. Last point I'll say is again, from an innovative standpoint, it's like we can't also be like, hey, I want my horse and buggy. What's this car stuff? Like, you can't do that. And then you also...
They actually talk about that in the podcast, too. They kind of mentioned that.
Real talk, right? And then also, I remember the day you go into a Target, you go into a Walmart, and there were 8 to 10 cashiers, right? To cash you out and whatever.
Oh, yeah,
and
now it's all self.
And what happened? There was that self-check aisle. Oh, hey, check this out. You could get in, get out, do your thing, whatever. And now there's one person that may just monitor the 6 to 8 check.
Oh, yeah. Late nights and stuff like that. They have one person monitoring 2 rows of those things. And then you have everybody checking out. You got one person labor for an entire grocery store up in the front. Absolutely. Normally you'd have at least 3 or 4 to manage everything that's there. And you have a store that's able to make more money. Now, Walmart has an issue where they've had so much theft that they're actually trying to pull back how many self-checkouts they have because theft has been so high. It's be like, 1 for you, 1 for me, 1 for me. Yeah. How many bananas did you get today? Well, I got a whole bundle, but I'm going to say 1.
Human manipulation.
Yeah, that's the human factor that gets to be part of it too.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you. It's like, we're definitely in this point where, when you hear chat GPT and the stuff that, I have people that I know, it's like they'll mess around and be like, hey, what is a resume or a cover letter or any of those things? And they get the basics from that, tweak it to make sure it sounds good. But it's like, that's just there. You want to know what type of algorithm right now for all the people who are, unfortunately, we're going to talk about that are searching for jobs? They go into this machine, all the job resumes, and then if you don't have all the perfect, just the words in there, it doesn't matter if it's written well, if you have amazing experience, something that just checks all the algorithm boxes is all it is, and you get to that point, then you can actually maybe move on to the next step, but you got to get through the random machine first. And you could be the most qualified candidate, but if you don't have the right formatting or a word that's supposed to be in there for some reason, they're not even reviewed that way anymore. So it's it is all over the place, and it's going to be one of those that as a tool, it can be beneficial again in the right way. Just hey, a screw to a power drill. First time you're a homeowner and you buy a power drill, you're like, what the hell was I doing for however long I did not have this tool? Oh my God, game changer. So again, as somebody who's a creative, whether it's an artist using Photoshop, and I could pull in this thing, give me, okay, this is kind of a cool, make me a cupcake castle. Cool.
Right.
All right, now let me give me a little inspiration. Let me pull from that, whatever it may be. And it was from the commercial, is the Cupcake Castle. But it's like, it's the degrees of there is so much gray in this black and white field. There's so much gray in the middle of this. It's so weird to see where it's all going to go when you have the SAG and the writer strike and all of the pushback over AI and likenesses and.
Now I will say I don't like what they did to the voice actor. I think I know you talk about the
SAG, no, the video game voice actors or something, right?
Yeah, that wasn't cool. Where they were like, "Yeah, we signed off on this," and
that didn't seem right.
Guys like, "We didn't sign voice actor. Like, we didn't sign off on this.
No.
Like, we got sold out." That was cold, and that's the corporate greed aspect that we got to be fair about, which could be utilized on that. But yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I know what you mean.
And it's also this kind of balance of like, what is something costing more? How much is corporate greed? How much gets into profits? I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's like, inflation's out there right now, and you get into all the politics and stuff. But like, what's inflation? What's profit? And why is the bonus for the CEO $17 million more versus And it gets into a whole mess of stuff. But it's like all of these things just get to be this continuing discussion of how valuable any person's work is going to be anymore is just kind of weird.
Yeah, we're in an inflection point. Generally, historically, what would happen is there's a new skill set that has to be learned, right? So is that generally, but again, not saying that that's going to make it one-to-one for any potential job that's lost because of AI,
right?
But they will develop generally new skill sets or have to be developed to kind of adapt to where the industry ends up shifting and going and stuff like that. So we got to see it. We're definitely in one of those times.
That is a good way to phrase it, though. Is like that was where, again, it was Mike Bithell and Austin Winter, when they were going back and forth, they were talking about like the Henry Ford thing. It's like, that's different. You're going to go from, making the car one by one to your new skill set is you're going to go work on an assembly line. Right. It's like a lateral. It's not so much. And then when they talk about AI, it gets to a point where it's destructive to the job market because it is taking pieces out of the equation as opposed to moving things around. So that's, again, really good listen, by the way. Like they always have random discussions on there, but this one this week specifically was very fitting. So yeah, go check that one out.
Valid points.
Yeah. Well, in all of this random crazy discussion as well, unfortunately, Twitter has been very depressing for, I don't know, the entire last year and a month. Today was a big one. Because unfortunately, like I saw Maddie say it too. It was the Black Forest Games that's working on The Last Ronin. They lost 50% of their studio. And that game looks at the end. That game sounds like it could be so cool. So you've got that one. Microsoft was 1,900 today. Jesus, yeah, that's a lot. Problem with, and part of the ones, so it was Microsoft Games, not specifically Microsoft. So it was the entire unannounced survival game from Blizzard. Yeah. The whole team is shuttered. Lots of community managers. And this is the thing. This is just today's one. I don't even know the other ones that I haven't mentioned, but it's the community managers. These are like, hey, I was a 12-year, animator or something. I'm like, and like somebody with that much skill, and it's just like, whether they're too expensive for a bottom line or a budget or other things, you're sitting there going, I'm like, oh, so you're a brand new animator out of college entering the market, and the other dude who's applying for the job has been doing this for 12 years, and you're competing with them. It's just, I feel like it's getting to a horrible zero-sum game stuff. Like right now, it's horrible. Like last year was, as we all said, there were so many games that came out last year that were all absolutely freaking amazing. On the other side of things, have the problem of the fact that I think we're halfway, the amount of layoffs in January are halfway to what all of 2023 had.
Bro, that's insane.
That's and again, insane. Tech wider is also getting it too. Whether it's Meta or Microsoft or Intel, doesn't matter. Like tech everywhere is getting layoffs, but just in the industry in and of itself, it's seemingly getting worse.
Oh yeah, no, I'll jump in. It was pretty shocking today for me because I was sorry. I want to say one thing because I just saw it. Somebody was just like, just in, Microsoft is closed with a $3 trillion valuation for the first time, and then what the tweet above it is ... and it's just like,
Now, granted, valuations of companies and budgets and things, that's not how all the financials work. They're not the same, but you kind of look at those numbers and you go, huh, really? Okay, that makes sense.
That's where the frustration is, right? Because it's like the video game industry seems to be, you know, at its all-time highs for quality games and record profits, right? But yet we're seeing all these layoffs and all these developers and all these creatives losing their job. And it's heartbreaking, you know, studios shuttering, you know, closing and stuff like that. You know, what I would say about this is on one side of it, I always knew and was not surprised that layoffs would be inevitable after an acquisition because I'm not trying to be cold-hearted, but there's always going to be redundancies. There's always going to be
acquisition,
like we don't need 2 HR departments. We don't need, you know, 2
we don't need extra payroll. Like you don't, I mean,
that's been going on since the end of time. So I don't want to be empathetic. I mean, you know, be cold and not empathetic on that. There's the other side that the sheer volume, right, of what we talked about, you know, a whole game, a whole studio, or whatever gets shut down, awful. And then we obviously we see the profit and stuff like that. So I've been on both sides of this. I've been a victim of layoffs. I know what that feeling is to now wake up and you're like, you got to figure out what the next move is, right? Yeah. It's tough. And here's the thing. As much as we love video games, this was always one of my fears. Trust me, I was blessed to be able to work in the game industry, and I met at one point. Fantastic. But one of the concerns is always the volatility of the games industry. And it's like, man, can I be at a company? It feels like the day of being with the same company for, you know, more than 4 or 5 years.
Is 100% a thing because you're a little older than I am.
Yeah.
But even I'm 40 and you're a little older than I am. But it's like our parents, aged 47, but like my parents are way older than me, but even like the stage in between for 60s or whatever. Yeah. The idea of working at a company for 25 years, getting a pension, that hasn't existed for my entire life of working and stuff like that. Those things don't exist anymore. So it's like, honestly, you're working against yourself generally if you stay at a company for longer than about 2 years, because it's the way you get your increases. Typically, if you're able to, is going between companies. So there's no reason generally. You'll see people go over here and then they'll come back. I mean, not to probably point the wrong person out, but Joe Blackburn probably did that. Not intentionally, but I mean, he was on the raid team before. He went to go, cannot remember where he went to, but when he came back, he's now game director. So you're making those moves and you're getting the verticality, not by staying at the same company, by transferring back and forth. Yes, I am 40.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that's even scary in the industry, because the games industry is such a, if you don't have the benefit of working remote, it is such a centralized thing where it's like Washington,
California,
the rest, it's like
you're like a little bit in Austin, as you said. There's a little up, but there's one major studio up by you.
Bro, it's insane. And the thing is, we have devs on ILP. We have devs like, bro. These people are, some of them. You hear the story, bro. They're giving up their well-established careers, moving their whole lives away to these areas that we say.
Was it Raven that was a prime example of that, like a Call of Duty testing studio or something like that?
I believe so.
And then they got shuttered or something. I feel like I remember. It could have been, but
three today. The news came out because the unions thing came out today, talking about, I guess, the 3 studios that were protected. I mean, protected, but they weren't affected because they were unionized. And now a lot of people are looking at this like, hey, is this a push now for unionization to try to protect it? It's a good discussion, right? I mean, because that's the only thing that really breaks my heart, is just to see so many people, obviously we just came off this with Bungie, right? We've seen everything that Bungie went through, and it's rough. And to me, it's like, you see the tweets, you see the human element. Hey,
it sounds like we figured out they still have about 1,350 employees as of now still.
As of now,
Right. They were up to 1,600 or something, like major.
Major. And the other thing with this one that was surprising, major heads at the top either leaving, like Mikey
Barra floored me, man. Wasn't that like his dream job to work at Bungie, if I remember an interview at some point? And then the fact that he chose, his was more voluntary. He wasn't let go. It sounded like he chose to leave, right? If I read that interview correctly, I may not have, or maybe it's like you left kind of thing. I don't know.
I spoke to Mike. I know him. I spoke to Mike to kind of, check in on him and just say, hey, I heard the news, and this is my feeling, like you said, I know Mikey Barra personally. Mikey Barra is a gamer through and through. Don't think he is just a corporate suit and that's it, right? So Mike is the guy I used to play. Remember when you got me 2017, like PC Destiny for the first time, and you put me on? I'm like, yo, 60 frames. Oh my God. I'm coming out of console, pleb life. I'm like, oh. So Mike was so on it. This was before Fireteam Finder and all. He had a system where he had a dedicated raid team. They ran me through Last Wish. They ran me through all this stuff. And it was a system. You'd sign up on the app. All right, who's the 6? Here's the time we're running. Like, that's how real he is. Same thing with Diablo. Now, even though he was hardcore Destiny at the time, this was during the days when Destiny was on Battle.net. You know what I'm saying? And we used to do this type of stuff. But he was even more a Diablo guy and a Blizzard guy. So that was his blood. That's what he lived. So I don't know if you saw the Jason Schreier report where Jason came out today.
I haven't read all of it, but I saw it.
Pretty much said that, look, when he spoke to Mike remember when they had the BlizzCon and him and Phil came out? That's what's so surprising. Everybody felt like they are retaining him, that they're going to be a unified front and they're going to move forward. And to me, I thought it'd be an asset, especially as a person who's running Blizzard, who's now acquired, to make the transition process easier, seamless, right? You want that when corporations merge, especially Mike, who's had like 20 plus years Xbox, Microsoft experience. It's like the perfect thing. So to see him go was kind of surprising. And according to Jason's report, when Jason spoke to him, he was kind of like, at the time, during the thing, he said they would have to get me out of here, kicking and scratch, drag me out of here.
Yeah, it sounded like he was not going to go anywhere.
I love this position. And this is when things are good. So he's like, I'm good. This was back then when he said that. So when I see this, I'm going to have to assume
questions.
That this was not necessarily something that may be his choice, or he was put in a position where it's like, okay, there's no future for me here. I have to go, kind of thing. But I did speak to Mike. Again, I know him. I spoke to him. We're cool. And, we're good acquaintance. And I've met him a dozen times over the years just to check on him, just see how he's doing. And he just said, nope, he's good. But his main thing is he just feels for the teams right now. All the people,
somebody in his position, whether it was you were asked nicely to leave or not, he is at a point where high enough in his career, he will be comfortable.
Oh no, he'll be fine.
He will be fine, and that's kind of the thing.
I got the sense he's okay.
And that's kind of the thing. It's like somebody at that level financially should be fine. If you manage money even reasonably, you're totally fine. Probably for, if not ever, at his level. But so many of the teams, the animators, the community, they lost a lot of community managers, support team. I was just seeing so many of the people that help these studios have that human feel to them. The community managers, the support team, Bungie went through it too. The security team. I mean, they're dropping.
Let me cut you.
Go. No, you're good. Like those are the weird ones.
Know.
Yeah.
As a person who's not familiar with, Blizzard as much. I'm not the Blizzard guy. One thing I heard is that their customer service, like some of the best, like it's very high quality.
I believe
now
it.
you hear rumors of obviously at Layoffs, generally that stuff kind of gets outsourced.
Yep.
And then who knows what the quality is. Continue though. I just wanted to say
that's
I've heard good stories about that.
That was just like some of the stuff that I've seen. I mean, I try and look at all the people. I try and just give them a follow if I can. I don't have like a reach to be able to share, somebody's resume or anything like that. But I try and look at who's going. There was like community managers and stuff like that. Yeah. The one, and we talked about this a little bit before the show. It's never been announced, but it has been speculated and rumored for a while. And there was even like a little bit of concept art I saw floating on Twitter today. The unannounced survival game from Blizzard. That whole project, Odyssey, is gone. Shuttered. Now, was it 6 years in the works or 5 or 4? I don't know how long it's been in the works, but a long time. Like 3 or 4 years at a minimum, if not more. People have been working on this project within Blizzard. So again, you have to apply, you have to work in Blizzard. Not an easy thing to get into for a studio. They're one of the better ones. And then you have 4 years of work on something like that, and you will never have anything to show for it. That's another bad thing about some of these projects don't see the finish line in games that get canceled and stuff like that, is somebody has a resume where they can't even show what they worked on for 4 years because it's, under NDA classified or whatever, and they can't show it. But it's like, what'd you do? Well, I worked there for 4 years on a game. Now, granted, for me also, it's like everybody's going to have different opinions about Blizzard, but Diablo, 3 had its issues, 4 came back swinging. You know, the seasons are hitting pretty good. But when they do put out a game, it's generally solid. Overwatch 2's kind of a flop, but Overwatch 1 really did things well for a long time. World of Warcraft is still the one that has survived this long, which is freaking amazing. I mean, you had RTS, Heroes of the Storm, didn't like win over the mobile market, but I was able to jump to the Heroes of the Storm and kind of get it without feeling overwhelmed.
Right.
Typically what they would do is they would take something that's probably a bit much, a bit too complicated, and not dumb it down. They kind of do the Apple of, we're not going to be first, but we're going to try and refine it for a broader audience.
Right.
So if Blizzard was going to work for a survival game, you see them blowing up right now. Palworld's one, Enshrouded just came out literally yesterday, sorry. But I mean, survival games, Valheim has had huge numbers. You've got V Rising. I'm trying to think of there's probably Lego Fortnite. Literally, that was one that had, I think, 1 million players on that first day. Survival games are a niche, and if Blizzard was going to do one, I really wish we could have seen that one, because that's the thing. It's like, I really wish we could have seen that one, because sometimes Minecraft, obviously, it's just when they step into a genre, they tend to do it with a lot of refinement and also a massive budget, which tends to lead to something kind of cool and unique. Now, is it always going to land perfectly? No, but a Blizzard survival game, that'd probably be pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was tantalizing. I remember the rumors. I remember the last BlizzCon, and people were like, yo, they might show it. I remember that. And then all of a sudden, they just announced the thing, but they didn't talk about it or announce it. So yeah, it's unfortunate, man. And just this, again, the sheer volume of layoffs, at Microsoft, anybody who lost their job today. I mean, my thing is, again, I've been there before, so I've been trying my best just to signal boost it. I know a lot of other developer friends who are like, hey, we're hiring. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let me get this out, to try to get people to land on their feet, because it's not easy. And then, the thing right now is, the reasoning, right? Obviously, I try to tell people one thing that happened. Shout out to the cops. They're going through it right now. But one thing that people don't realize is that COVID gave a lot of these corporations fool's gold. And what was happening is, because you had the influx of people at home, engagement is up.
I was like, paired with one other thing.
Finish the thought.
Paired with interest rates that were very low and now are extremely high. So you have exactly what you said. COVID, huge player place, influx of players, and interest rates. Like, my wife and I refinanced our house at like probably almost the lowest you'll ever be able to get it to. And now it's the other side. Now we're over 7 and still hanging there for like 6.8 to 7 for base interest rate. My online savings account, like, not like money market or just online savings account. Normally the ones, if you go to like Chase or Bank of America or whatever, they're like 0.01%. It's pointless. But if you at least do an online one, it was like 1%, 1.5%. It's at 4.5% right now, and it just does nothing. Like, that is a base minimum for interest, which means everything costs more. So loans and everything cost more. So anyway, back to where you were.
No, good point. So it's like, you have that, you have, record profits, and you're sitting to yourself as a corporation like, oh, wow, this is the new normal. This is, oh my God, this
45% revenue miss.
Let's ramp up. Let's hire more. Right? Because look at what we see now. We got to anticipate this growth is going to continue. That's what, again, the fool's gold during that part, right? And now people start coming out. We start coming out of the tail end of the pandemic. People start going out. Engagement goes down. And then all of a sudden you go, oh man, I have all of this workforce, not a lot of profit, not a lot of revenue anymore. And now you got to sit there and assess, okay, we cannot continue with this volume of people that we have.
And that's the hard financial side, exactly what you're saying.
And that's the financial side. So I get it. I'm not trying to justify it, but it's just like this. I still think we're like, to be honest, like a year or two away before we get through this recovery phase, maybe possibly 2 years before we get into that, recovery phase with the industry. And I think that's a part of what's going on here. And you're seeing everyone's cutting costs and cutting positions and doing all this other stuff. But it just sucks, because it's like, damn, the games industry is so profitable right now. And it's just like, we're going through some of the worst job cuts ever. And, that was one thing I was very proud of with the whole, New York Game Awards thing I did. We did mention it at the top of the show, and to give back, to understand that even though we're celebrating games right now, we here at the New York Video Games Critics Circle, we want to be clear of all the people, developers that lost their jobs and stuff like that, and that we're going to acknowledge it. It's not just, hey, celebrate video games and don't worry about, even though the people that made this game may no longer be here.
Right. That's the hard thing is some of the games that got
Yeah.
awards last year, some people didn't have jobs that were part of those games. That's really sad.
Facts.
I actually kind of wanted to shout you out on that one and kind of let you, I saw on Twitter, if you guys don't follow Cognito, he was New York Game Awards. You and your co-hosts were up there presenting.
Yes.
Probably one of the biggest ones, and I would have been, fanboying too. Saw the picture with Neil Druckmann. I mean, if you want to talk about a studio head that is known specifically now, he's one of them. And what was it like meeting him? How was he?
Neil, let me tell you right now. Sometimes in life where they say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
Like Neil exceeded every expectation and then some.
Is
like this is a real dude. And I got a chance to break bread with him like 4 times during that. We had lengthy conversation. And look, first off the bat, extremely down to earth. The guy is super approachable. And what's funny, he admitted to me, he's like, hey man, I'm a bit of a introvert. I really don't, I'm a little.
A lot of them are that way. No, I mean, like that's kind of one of those you don't ever expect. But yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm an introvert. He's like, I'm nervous. I said, bro, you're gonna knock. So we talked before, backstage VIP stuff, and we talked after, during. And first of all, his speech was amazing. I love what he had to say. I love the credit he gave.
Is it anywhere to watch?
Yes, the link's up. Go to New York. What you call it? I'll give you the website.
Yeah.
Go to nyvgcc.com. So nyvgcc.com. Let me just make sure. New York Video Games Critic Circle, or maybe it might be the Critic Circle itself, or just Google New York Video Games Critic Circle, and then because we got to get some shine on this, man. And from there you can actually see. There it is. So it's nygamecritics.com.
Yeah.
And then hit the tab, and then you'll see watch live on Twitch, watch live on YouTube. That'll take you to either page, and then you can see the 13th annual Game Awards there. So his speech was amazing. He pretty much talked about his journey being there, and this guy came from an intern. He snuck into E3s just to try to get into gaming. Awesome. You know what I mean? And then shout out to my man Jason Rubin, the original owners of Naughty Dog, took a chance on him. And Jason's awesome. So you could tell they were tearing, because Jason was tearing up in his talking, basically during the speech, of all the people celebrating Neil and what The Last of Us meant to them and what Uncharted meant to them. And just to catch King and Neil had a moment, because I know King is Xbox frontline, and I get it. And he goes hard for The Last of Us.
I was going to say, I was like, King's real for the right game. He always is. Yeah.
When it's his game, he's like, that's my greatest game. He said he would never take that away from them, regardless of how he feels about his PlayStation and other stuff.
The line and all that. Yeah.
Hold the line of his feelings on other things that PlayStation does. But when it comes to Last of Us, when it comes to Neil Druckmann, I remember the day he called me. This is King David called me after ending Last of Us and was like, I said, so how was it? Because he played it before me. And I'm like, I said, did it meet expectations? He's like, bro, there's a part where I put the controller down and I'm shaking. And he's just like, I don't want to do certain things. That's where the game put him in a place. So when we get it back to Neil, he's having those discussions. But the main thing with him is just a down-to-earth person, a person who does actually feel the negativity from social media. He admitted it to me. He's just like, look, I tell all my devs at Naughty Dog, like, hey, stay off social media if you can. A lot of these people are the absolute worst. And
keyboard warriors suck. Especially for those moments, but they really suck.
So disrespectful, and obviously, his family was there and stuff. But New York Game Awards was amazing. Again, celebrating the developers of the building. Shout out to Baldur's Gate. They pulled it off. Got a chance to talk with Larry, and those guys are awesome. Nintendo was in the building, obviously. For me, an honor to host the initial opening.
Did you get to meet Reggie?
Introduce Reggie.
Oh,
Your
dude.
boy got an introducing for Reggie Fils-Aimé. So it's a dream come true. We were living in a fever dream that night. All your heroes in a place. And the main thing I like that the New York Video Games New York Game Awards does and the New York Video Games Critics Circle does is it's not just talk. It's really giving back. We gave up. The mayor's office was there.
Oh, damn.
We have scholarships to students in undeserved communities to basically promote video game curriculum and how gaming can actually be good and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. So I'm proud, and we gave the developers time to speak
Huh.
and get their awards
Yep.
and give the creators the shine that they deserve. Last year I was in Bungie won what last year before, but this year I'm trying to remember who won live service this year. I know Cyberpunk won DLC, but go check it out, man. It's really cool. I was super proud, and then we announced I was able to present all the awards. We did a presenting as well for the VR AR Game of the Year award,
Nice.
and as Asgard's Wrath
Asgard's
came
Wrath
out.
got it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was in the
yeah.
building.
Travis
Yeah,
gave
so
that
it's
puppy
cool.
a 10, so I mean,
Yeah,
no
good stuff,
reason
man.
not to. That's awesome.
Good
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, no, I mean, Last of Us is controversial for some people, and then the leaks about 2, and then people who like have thoughts about 2 that never played it because their information about the leaks, which is wrong, and all that. I mean, all that's like a whole mess of stuff, but
Mhm.
it's a rare one. It's a rare gem of the effort put into the experiences, the little stuff, the acting, the story is very special for a lot of people, and it's hard to go through that story, but it's a good story, and that's one of those things, like, you can tell the care that I think Neil had, and they got the right director, the director of Chernobyl. Did you watch Chernobyl, by the
I
way?
have not yet.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's 5 episodes. That's all it is. It is 5
I'll knock
episodes.
it out.
That was the perfect director. As soon as I saw that
Ooh.
director get announced for Last of Us, I was like, oh, they're
You already
cooking.
know.
Like, I already know they're cooking on that one.
Bro, funny story. In his speech, acceptance speech, he kind of took a shot. He's like, at the what is it, the Emmys or whatever, where they give the awards for the shows. What's the show that beat him out?
Emmys would have been Succession would have probably beat him for
Succession.
drama.
He was like, hey, Succession, you can't take this one from me, damn it. It was funny the way he did it. It was so cool. Because you can tell he wanted that.
I mean, I heard Succession went out on a massive high for their series finale. Craig Mazin, there you go, also did the Hangover movie. Yeah, that's quite a switch. Yeah, Craig Mazin did the Hangover movie, did Chernobyl, and did Last of Us. Like, episode 3 of The Last of Us is like a perfect episode of television.
Oh, bro.
I mean, like, that episode it's one of those that, like, from start to finish, it's just like, it is a movie in and of itself, because it's the longest one. It's like an hour. It's like special, and that's one of those times where I'm sure like Neil and Craig worked together and they went way outside of the game to make what that was, and you got to see even more. And you can tell Neil is probably like is part in his mind kind of like a Kojima. They want to make movies. They want to make movies. I mean, Death Stranding, the same thing, like the 4 hours of cutscenes or whatever is in that game. It's like they want to make movies, and it's one of those weird things. It's like I'll watch a movie and then I'll play certain games, and it's the experience that you have as you just, and it's not always all the way, but you put yourself partially in that character's shoes. You've been in those shoes for 15 hours of walking through crappy streets and tunnels and hunkering down behind boxes to get away from clickers. And then it's that final moment of doing whatever it's doing. And it's just, there are certain things that games are capable of that other forms of media can't do. Yeah, and it's one of those things that a lot of people don't, a lot of older generation especially will probably never experience because they will choose not to. They choose to be like, oh, that's just a video game. I'm like, we're telling some stories over here, and I've been in this thing for like 20 hours. We are experiencing things that you may never see in a movie or on TV.
That's the beauty. We talked about that too, and he behind the scenes, and he was basically saying one thing that really he's proud of is that, like say for example, we're the hardcore games, we're playing it. To see non-gamers say, okay, well, I'm not playing, but I'm gonna watch you. Like, what's that? Like, and stay invested, right? Because it's like they're so connected to the characters, kind of thing. He has ushered that era in as well. He's got masterpieces, and we forget the Uncharted.
Oh no, the whole Uncharted series is I mean, you got 2 with the iconic train, which now damn near made it into a Tom Cruise movie. 4, it's the depth that they've added to games to say that story matters, writing matters, acting matters. I mean, you have, a lot can be said in facial expressions. I mean, what's the whole thing? Like, what you say is the whole thing you say is only like 15% of what you say verbally. Body language is like 70%. Tone is so much more. So when you go to getting the fidelity that we now have in games, the motion capture, the details, and all those things. When you get into seeing, and that's why for me, the games that you do see the expressions, you do see that, like, the pain, the anguish, the suffering, the happiness, the ups and the downs that you can actually witness. It's like, we're not in like photorealism, but they're getting to that point where it's like, even on like the magic they pulled with Last of Us when it came out, like that kind of thing. But I mean, all of those, you get to those moments in games of, I mean, Ori is still one of the damn games that didn't say a damn word, and both of them made me cry. And I'm like, both of them. And it's like, there's not a word said in those, but it's like the moments that happen. And obviously I've got some empathy to some stuff, but it's all of those things. So no, it's like, if nothing else, if the success of Uncharted 1, 2, 3, Last of Us, if that type of success of one studio can help an industry have a new level of appreciation and also put money behind those story-based games, they're worth it. And I think that's like a huge thing. If he's been one of the pillars, not the only one, but if he's one of the pillars that has helped that piece of the industry to be like, hey, it's not just shooting and guns and action and all this other stuff. There can be more, and it can be appreciated if done well. Absolutely. And I think it's like, it's like when you get done playing 2, it's like same thing. Ooh. The moment in 2 when like the head flips to tails, you're like, I'm what? Yeah. So it's like, and that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow.
Yeah, it's real. Absolutely.
No, that night had to be a blast because bro, Reggie alone is like iconic for Nintendo, and it's kind of the only Nintendo face I've known for a long time outside of Shigeru Miyamoto. It's like kind of the North American face was Reggie on so much stuff for so long. So the fact that you got to introduce him is like, I would have been fanboying a little bit. And then Neil, if Neil was as cool as he sounds and just like also the conversations he did. No, that's one to remember.
Night to remember. I'm living in a fever dream. I'm blessed. And I remember, I think we all came together, me, Solve, King and Addict. We just like, yo, do we realize what's happening right now? Like, we are super proud of each other, gave each other the group hug, the bro hug, it just those moments, that where the hard work pays off and then you're acknowledged by your peers. And again, I'm very thankful. I as much as I complain with certain things in gaming, and the gaming community has treated me well, and I'm always going to be thankful. And nights like that justify all the hard work, all the, that kind of stuff, in conjunction with doing something that's actually positive in creating change and stuff. So salute to everybody's support. I'd never ask, but if people could go, I put it in the website, New York Game Critics, nygamecritics.com. Go check it out. If you want to support, you want to donate, fine. You don't have to, no obligation. But go check out Neil Druckmann. He's got his speech up. They've got the entire Game Awards. If you want to see your boy intro the show, you go check that out. See the Lords present, and of course, outro as well. So great show, and you get to see who won. It was competitive, man. Some really good categories.
Last year was so crazy. I mean, granted, January's off to a hell of a start. Now, I got to ask you, when you saw the reviews come out, what went through your mind? So I'm going to make a little bit of a shift now. We're going to talk about... So I played Prince of Persia. That game is fantastic. That got
phenomenal.
Dude, it is... I mean, it's an 87. It's a 9 in my book. Easy 9. Not quite a 10. Couple... Like, if you have a hard 10-point scale, it is a 9. But it is a damn good 9. I mean, that's when I say, like, Ori and the Will of the Wisp is... amazing for it's got type platforming, the visuals and everything like that are cool. And the story obviously hits you in the heartstrings. I would say the story on Prince of Persia is a little weaker, but where it passes like Ori and stuff, the combat, the exploration, the platforming, like the gameplay is so good on Prince of Persia that like Metroidvania, whenever that thing comes to Steam, like for a Steam Deck or wherever you're going to play it, because it's only on Ubisoft Connect and other places right now. But no, Prince of Persia was so good. But then, so that was an 87 on Metacritic or OpenCritic or whatever it is right now. Now, we're really cooking with fire because you got Tekken 8, you got Like a Dragon. Hold on, I want to see if I can get the title right. No, hold on. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I've been listening to too many of those discussed at the same time. Both sitting at 90s on OpenCritic. And we're talking like 70 reviewers. So I mean, this is the average. It's where it's going to land. So both of those, and I think they were like an hour apart or something like that. How you doing?
I'm finished. I dreaded this day. I dreaded this day. Because what's funny is I had a great feeling about Tekken coming in. And I was like, look, they are listening to every single thing the community wants. And then let's just get it right at the back. This thing is UE5. It is the best looking fighting game I have ever seen.
So Mortal Kombat. It beats Mortal Kombat? Because I mean, I'm asking, that's the only other one.
Love you, Mortal Kombat. It's not. I mean, you're not that like. I mean, but you're beat. You're beat. Like
you have been beaten. Yeah, gotcha.
You have been beat. Like that's it. No, it's not. Mortal Kombat is a beautiful game, but it's not messing with Tekken, especially the facial expressions, the animations, the backgrounds, the effects, the cinematic. Like it's to the point now that the core game looks like a cinema when you do a wind pose.
I've heard some of those like zoom ins and camera moves and stuff. Just
it's crazy. Full roster. The thing that you'll like as a person who may not be into fighters, again, you know how we complain about our beloved Destiny sometimes, but this is the best onboarding for someone who does not play fighting games. I highly recommend you guys try it out if you've has an inkling like hey, that looks cool, but I don't do no. Not only do they have the way you play, they have obviously the special style for guys who don't know the complex movement. We consider it dad mode, right? Where you have that aspect. Then they also have an arcade mode, which definitely appeals to people who want to learn gameplay mechanics, but they do it in such a way that you go up to certain characters and say, okay, well, I'm struggling with getting up off the floor and I can show you some stuff. And then you go through this kind of repetition and stuff like that. The character roster is insane. The thing that Tekken has been lapped in, they have addressed, which is the cinematics and stuff like that. So having the story and having the whole game's characters implemented into the main story. Tekken really has never done that, even though they've pioneered endings in video games for fighting. You could turn dad mode off. Absolutely. Dad mode is an option that they give you from the very beginning. And when you start the game, Robert Jones. So yeah, you don't have to play that at all.
Okay. I got to ask, and I don't know the full cast. I'm on the website.
Yeah.
Is Heihachi in this?
Well, if you play Tekken 7...
That's the thing. Now, I also heard there's actually a story recap because you got like Devil Jin and people thrown into volcanoes and other stuff all over the place.
So, more than likely...
Well, I remember... So, it's probably been a long time since I played.
Yes.
Kazuya had like a devil mode like back in 3 or something, maybe, I remember.
Yes.
Devil Jin looks cool, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Kazuya is at full devil gene power.
Yeah, okay.
He's basically this is Tekken. You're gonna like it because it's Tekken the Avengers now.
I heard it was like also somebody described this as like Tekken/anime. Like they went
it's anime. Yeah, and I love it because it's getting more to a casual base. You got to get them in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and one thing about Tekken, they don't take themselves too seriously too. They'll have fighting bears and foolishness and stuff like that.
We got Panda, King, the dude in the mask and stuff.
The game
now, granted, somebody who pulls off King's extended grapples is always satisfying to watch because it's gush, and they just keep like flipping, wrestling, and slamming, and they never let you go. And I'm just like, yep, that's cool to watch, but I'm dead.
It's cool because again, we know the skill level involved, and then the thing about Tekken, which is really cool this year, they've designed the characters to all be distinct, to have their own personality. Like
I've heard you mention it. Now, granted, I heard also the distinct. Who did they? Lee.
Yeah, my guy.
You mentioned him, I think, on Defining Duke, because I remember playing as Lee, and then now he's gone to, as you said, like tech bro kind of guy.
Tech bro, goofy. They changed his personality for
some. Who's the fancy Frenchman now?
Oh, that's he's like the new Lee in terms of style and personality. Oh, Vincent. What's his name? Vincent. Is it Victor? Is it Victor? Or is it Vincent or Victor?
I'm looking.
There's something with a V.
Victor. He's like a silver fox Frenchman guy, kind of.
Yeah, he's the John Wick. He's played by Vincent Cavalier, which is, I believe, this guy that does.
He's the guy in Ocean's 12,
movies.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know you're talking about. I remember seeing all that.
Bro, they got the bag, the marketing bag that they put down on this game. Yeah. Tekken is spending the money this year. The budget to go all out with AAA production.
Okay, you got to tell me one though. What is the story behind Yoshimitsu? Why is he this armored devil? How
All right.
does he exist
How
in
did
this
this
crazy?
happen?
Yeah.
So Yoshimitsu historically is part of the Manji Ninja Clan, which is kind of like Robin Hood guys, right? Which is
Okay.
steal from the rich, give to the poor. Now he had, from my understanding, the reason why he's got all this crazy suit armor and all that stuff, he has some type of terminal condition, and then this
Oh.
doctor in the character called Dr. Boskalovich, who actually helped make Brian Fury and make that Elisa girl, the girl with flies with the wings with the chainsaws.
Oh.
Those are his creations. So Yoshimitsu is one of his creations, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's to help Yoshimitsu extend his life because he's part robot, part.
That sounds like
You
what is it? The Wolverine with the
Mhm.
adamantium samurai guy?
Yes.
You're
So
gonna say.
that's Yoshi's story. He's in. I gotta see.
Okay,
I
Paul
didn't
looks
get to-
weird.
Paul looks like he's going on hard times, going through super.
Yeah, dude, what's up with the homeless biker haircut? Like, this is a
Yeah.
weird, because I remember Paul with the straight up,
Yeah,
big tall,
straight
like,
up. Yeah,
yeah,
like,
I was like, and my
yeah.
buddy played him, so I got my ass whooped plenty of times by him.
Shout out to Robert Jones. Yes, I played Tekken 3. Yes, I did. I just don't
I
remember.
don't know. I haven't played one in so long. I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
A minute on Yoshi's
Yeah.
story, but
And his biggest thing is like, I got Enshrouded. I have like 4 days to try and play that. Suicide Squad, I am gonna jump in. I gotta know. I really do.
Of course.
Helldivers is not that far away.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to the start of this year? Why did it have to go so hard?
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Like a Dragon,
It's crazy.
Tekken 8,
And then
tomorrow.
Like a Dragon's going 90.
Or tonight.
Yeah, people are
both
saying Infinite. Yeah. go ahead.
Infinite Wealth. Yeah, I was gonna say 90.
Mhm.
But yeah, we already had Last of Us Part 2. That was sitting there at a 91 as well. Prince of Persia at a 7 or at a 87. And then Suicide Squad, Helldivers 2, Banishers of Ghost of New Eden. Ultros is this like goofy looking Skull and Bones on the 16th. There's an open beta coming for that. Pacific Drive on the 22nd. Sons of the Forest is coming to PC. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you got to find some time for. Like,
Bro.
that's 2 months.
Thank God.
That is 2
Final
months.
Shape. Thank God the Final Shape got delayed.
Man, dude, it would have been swallowed up. Honestly, that's probably
benefit.
Could not
the
probably.
fact that it's coming out in summer is probably a benefit.
Yeah. If it was trying to come out next to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you got these couple out there already. No, I mean, I don't honestly think it would have been a great spot. I don't know if there's that much. By the way, Horizon Forbidden West coming to PC for the complete edition on March 21st. And then 22nd. Yeah, so I'm never going to get to play Forbidden West again because on the 22nd, then you have Dragon's Dogma 2, Rise of the Ronin on the same day. Also, Princess Peach Showtime coming in hot.
Yeah, Princess Peach. Shout out to Princess
You got
Peach.
the Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles because there was that game, the Falconeer or something like that. It might have been an Xbox game. Now you got like Bulwark Falconeer, which looks like you got some like cities going on.
Yeah.
And then we don't have a whole lot announced post like March. But yeah, start of the year, going way too hard, man.
Bro, way too hard. It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. Like I said, as soon as we end, I'm going right on that Tekken. I'm getting I got things to hit up. But,
is it out now or is it like tonight?
Now.
Okay.
6 p.m. from my understanding.
Yeah. Okay. So now.
So yeah, that's what it should be now. So go.
So let's see how long we can stretch this podcast out, guys.
No, not at all. No, let's get to Destiny. What's going on, and let's get going.
So for the World of Destiny, we did get a little info today. So we've got the winning armor, which was for the Wizards. Come on, load. Why is Bungie
load?
Hello.
Your site's not loading?
I
don't want to refresh now because I have the page up, so I'm gonna leave it where it's at.
Okay, that's fun.
See it right now.
That's neat. Hold on, let me see. Just pull it from Twitter. There we go. Finally loaded. Damn. Okay, so we had the vote last week, which was kind of the main thing. Okay, a couple things happened last week. We'll recap.
Right.
Because I don't actually think we really talked about those because we were talking to Jared about the Bungie Foundation. By the way, Bungie Foundation Game to Give drive passed $2 million. Like, holy crap, still going. By the way, if you're still looking for emblems or being part of my raffle, you can still donate. Every $7 gets you an entry. That is going until the end of the 4th. We're at 5266 for me right now. But honestly, like, for my overall rank of the amount that I have raised so far is I'm 42 out of everybody.
Nice.
No, I was like,
Stop it.
Scaro's at like 17,000. Above is at
Ooh.
15,000. Cross is at 23. Leopard's at 27. Grenader
Stop
Jake's
it.
at 37.
It
Jixer's
is
at
about
48.
the work
No.
that
I'm
you've
just
done and
like,
the effort you
no,
put in.
I did way more than I ever thought I would have. I was so happy to
Mhm.
do it, but I'm just like, the amount that all of these creators have helped
it's
raise is
insane.
just
It's
nuts.
insane.
Mactix is close. Light.gg's at like 10 grand. Mactix is almost at 10 grand. Cheese Forever. Cheese Forever is 12,000 right now, which is fantastic. Wow. Like they're coming out hard. Stadia time.
Stadia time.
Banana. He did a stream with Fallout. What? And I think when he had certain like wheel spins, he had to eat bananas. I think he ate way too many bananas.
Wait, when you say eat bananas,
the fruit.
Stadia, wait, hold on. Stadia time was on camera?
Stadia time was on camera here. Or he had a mask on, no face reveal. It was here down, and then, or he had his like
so how you eat bananas and we can't see his face?
Like, just
damn it, Stadia time. What's funny? Me and Trav was teasing. I think you were with me. No, it was me and you. We've seen the reveal.
Oh no, so we joked that this is like one of the better dressed. Like,
the most
handsome dude. Yeah, like what the hell,
you were
man?
Thinking the way he acted as if he can't be on camera. And I'm like, bro, like, what are we doing?
He's got a voice for he's got a voice for radio, and he's got the face for camera. Like he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
But yeah, honestly, like it's all going to the iPads for kids. Check out the stuff that does. Last week was crazy. The Make-A-Wish, they released that one where they talked about bringing them in. If you saw the video, and then, so last week's other news besides that, since we didn't really talk about it, the Glimmer Cap's going up to 500K.
All right.
So we're up. That's on the 30th. Yeah, 250 to 500. Right. It took
Glimmer for these days, though. I'm trying to think.
Like, well, I mean, you're getting rid of shards and stuff, so Glimmer's just more part of things. That's all it is. The helmet no longer stays on, so you can actually customize your character coming up before final shape. There will be a character customization. As Tassie said, it only took him 10 years. Fine.
I'd like to never.
And then there was voting on good wizard armor and evil wizard armor. So the winner of the wizard armor is Titan, good wizard, Warlock and Hunter, bad wizard. I don't know which one you wanted.
I'm so disappointed in the Warlock community right now.
Did you want
I
wanted
good wizard. I wanted good. Yeah, and I'm like, because I look at the Titan, like I look at the Titan looks so clean. Titan looks so
I'm
clean.
glad I got the good, because that's what I wanted, but I feel like all I saw on Twitter was bad wizard, and I'm going, all right.
Like, it's not that bad wizard is horrible. It's just that it's just like
here's your picture, your clean one.
Accents. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, Zenthos.
Here's it on the right.
Let me see good one. Yeah, let me look at what sort of get. Yeah, it's something about good wizard that really gives you that wizardry. Like I'm in Hogwarts right now.
Yeah, truly yours. The hat's the right shape.
The hat is clean.
You got the long robe in the front, like I mean, I would have I thought good was the Hunter. I could have gone either way. The Titan the evil Titan looked like a cowboy. I don't know why. It still looks too much like a cowboy. So the wizard fit better up there, even if it is chunky shoulders. Hunter, I feel like evil might be better with the wispy cloak, because he almost has like an elfish, like the boots are pulled up a little too high, almost like kind of Three Musketeers look, just in blue. But the Warlock, I thought I could have gone either way. That's why I was actually kind of curious. But
I'm disappointed with the Warlock community again. But you know what kills me about bad wizard Warlock? The hat looks like it's giving me like hobo vibes, like he's broke. Like it's like I don't know. I just don't like the drooping hat. Thank you, Outset. It's like a homeless fit. Thank you. That's what I don't like about it. The good wizard is very clean, and the edges are sharp and nice, and you know what I mean. Like the Titan is clean. I ain't gonna front. The Titan is clean.
Yeah, somebody cooked on the Titan. I like it.
Yeah. So I'll miss, but you know, again, not too bad. I'll deal this time. I've seen worse. Worse, put it that way.
Starting on January 30th as well. Besides the 500,000 Glimmer Cap. So the face customization will come before final shape at some point. They got 5 months, whatever. Or February, March, April, May. Yeah. On the 30th, it starts our Riven's Wishes, which you could speculate if this was supposed to be in the season, if it was moved out. These are weekly quests with a high-risk objective in the Dreaming City, such as completing a Legend of Lost Sector, or a dungeon. Upon completing these weekly objectives, players can return to Mara to receive a wish token. And each week you can use this token to a prize from one of 3 different categories. Choose a
Okay,
red border last wish weapon.
Oh,
You can get a red border raid weapon.
I
You
missed out
can
on
get exotics from the Year of Lightfall. If you're missing
Okay.
anything, I'm pretty
Okay.
good on those.
I'm pretty good on that.
And then you can also get miscellany, which basically it's like you can
Mhm.
get the lost season of, or the lost memento and the dawning memento. So you can get the all black memento, or you can get the ice memento.
Ooh. I can ice out my my crafted joints with mementos if I
Now I don't
want.
know if you get to pick, or you're just gonna go category 3 and then it's one of those. Because I can tell you, if
Right, right.
people get like an ascendant shard and they're going for a memento, they're gonna be pissed, especially if they're limited.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'll be curious how that goes. You got 6 weeks to
Mhm.
play through them, probably 1 a week. Moments of
Okay.
Triumphs comes back.
Nice.
I always end up getting the Moment of Triumph shirt.
Yeah, I gotta keep the
Um,
tradition.
but other than
Even though
that,
it's looking
there's
kind
going
of
to
broke
be,
this year. We looking a little broke this year. We look like the budget went down a little bit on that plain gray.
yeah,
That plain
that
gray.
doesn't,
I don't know.
well, it's like Heather Gray, which I don't mind. And I like the logo because it's
Yes.
like the dragon. Heather Gray doesn't have to look bad, but for whatever reason, it doesn't. Even if the logo's good, I feel like there was just
We gotta
it's a
get
little
back to
more.
this.
Yeah, I was like there
We
was
gotta
just
get back to this.
more and kind of clean. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Tyler,
then
you got continue.
no, I was just gonna say it's like so it's there. I mean, I'll probably get it because if I knock the stuff out. Oh, by the way, you want to know something? I'm gonna round out our podcast come final shape. Because if I hit $5,000 raised, which I did not think I was going to do, I told them I would play Hunter for the final shape.
Oh, wait, for the whole campaign?
For the whole campaign. I'm going to be a Hunter for the final shape.
Wow. What are you going to do with yourself without you?
I got to train a Hunter over the next 4 months. I got to learn how to play this class. I got to start paying attention to Xur. I got to collect my exotics.
No barricade. You're going to be out here. What?
I'm going to have to learn to go invisible. I will have things like golden gun and one-off supers like left and right.
True.
So there's some benefits.
Blade barrage.
Yeah.
You get a little nice.
Oh, I think right now it's golden gun Celestial. The boost on Celestial is too good right now. I've
crazy. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So, but yeah, I got to go Hunter. So it's yeah. I mean, it's for a good cause, super. But I hate you all. What?
Hey, the new super though. The new Traveler supers, light supers. What's the Hunter one?
I think the Hunter one was the one where you warp around. I didn't love the Hunter one.
Oh, you didn't like the one? Okay.
Like the Titan gets a freaking three throw. I finally get my like big damage range super, and I'm not gonna play it. You're welcome, but thank you also for helping raise over $5,000 for Game to Give. So for a very good cause. But yeah, I'm gonna be struggling. I'm gonna be secretly sneaking in time on my Titan quietly.
I feel you.
There's also one more thing they've got. If Guardians all together, this is one of these arbitrary thresholds, if we hit 7,777,777 enemies killed with swords, we're going to unlock the Geralt sword emblem. The little icon kind of looks almost like a sword from like 8-bit Zelda. That's what it reminds me of.
Yes.
And then you just kind of have a compass up there. It's like, it's fine. And I'm sure over the course of the next 4 months, we'll get it, but I'm not too worried.
It's dangerous out there. Don't go out alone.
Yeah. And then as Jared said when he was on the show, February 1st, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, so 1 p.m. Eastern, they're going to be doing a big stream. So Bungie Foundation's Twitch channel, they were doing a stream right now. Did you see it's the Mexican artists who did the ghost shells that they're up for auction? They're custom painted.
Nice. Yeah,
really custom. I want the Day of the Dead one looks legit. I like that one, actually. That one's always very cool. So those are legit. Everybody's like, Iron Banner comes back. I don't care. Competitive Crucible rewards. I'm like, okay, you're going to give them Ascendant Alloy, sure. Again, way too late. I feel like those are things when the community is like, hey, could Trials have like Ascendant Alloy and Ascendant Shards drop from the chest or whatever? I'm like, that feels like the easiest thing to say. Yep. Why would you? That feels like one of the easiest things to just go here.
I mean, you did go flawless. One would think that gets rewarded at the same level, the same equality of a Nightfall, which would be the high end.
People farm GMs in like less than people farm GMs in 20 minutes when they get to farming them. So if you're skilled in PvP, yeah, you should easily be getting some shards and alloys and all that stuff. So, and this is only comp. This isn't even trials. So
yeah,
they're really trying to push people.
The best I can do right now is when I play trials, I put on my Ghost Shell and hope some the prisms drop because I put that on. But yeah, they've been a little better with rewards as far as the weapons in trials between rounds and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting
But
better there, but I'm
yeah,
like, just give the
but yeah,
currencies. Like, if you're a
give the
PvP
currency at
person,
the
get the
end.
currencies.
Yes, please.
Seems like an easy W.
I would
Wouldn't be
agree.
so hard. Well, that covers Destiny in 6 minutes.
6 minute segment.
So next week we'll see what's going on with the wishes. Man, what day is that?
Yes.
Hold on.
That is what is it, Tuesday, right? Next Tuesday?
30th. I think Suicide Squad comes out. Where's the time? I saw the drop. Suicide. It's the time of release, and it's one of those weird things where Steam somehow comes out later than Suicide Squad WB. That not the right Twitter account?
You can't find it?
Well, maybe it's Suicide Squad game or something. Suicide Squad. Or do I just need to go to like Rocksteady, actually? Duh.
Oh, right, Rocksteady.
Yeah, Rocksteady. There you go. Okay, so this is one of those annoying things. So midnight local time, which I think for them is UK. So it'll be January 29th, 9 p.m. Pacific. If I'm on Steam, I have to wait till 10 a.m. the next.
10 a.m.
Well, it's going to be noon for me. I got to wait like damn near 12 hours just to play. I'm going to play on PC, but.
Of course. How are we feeling about it?
I want to see the story through.
Okay.
I did play the alpha. I can tell you that. And I think the writing was fitting for the characters. I had a literal chuckle out loud on one of the moments. Just kind of the story implementation. The cinematics are fire.
Woo.
I mean, Rocksteady did not slouch on those cinematics. They are high fidelity. And we're talking like just Alan Wake level of detail cinematic. Just freaking fantastic looking cinematics. Just the textures and so many things. There's a character that came in the little alpha that I got to play, and I was like, oh, and just all the outfits look great. So like, I'm not worried about cinematics. The voice acting is well done and fitting for each of the pieces that I've seen so far. I think those pieces are going to be okay. My wonder is the seasonal live service idea, because the new playable character is going to be the Joker in season 1, begins in March. You've got a new playable environment. My question is, will Suicide Squad, when people play through, play the story and all of that stuff, is the loop to the game going to be enough? And this is like kind of the Avengers question. Is the loop going to be engaging enough that when you exhaust the current option, when season 1 comes out, and then however long, and that's probably going to be quicker, people might play that one, maybe, but then season 2, do you come back like 5-6 months after launch and go play some more Suicide Squad? That's, I think, the hard one to know the feel of.
Legs.
Yeah, it's the legs. Like, you're going to have a new playable character. You got new boss fight variants. You got some new weapons and gear. I mean, you've also got, there's decent skill. I mean, there was like 3 different skill trees for each character. So there's a fair amount of depth and stuff. There's loot and levels and all of those things. It just feels weird. And I think it's the live service piece that I just don't know. It's not saying it can't, but it's really got to earn it. And it's weird to think of myself saying, like, in May, now maybe if there's nothing coming out in May, who knows? But like, hey, if you do one in March, okay, you go 3 months. June, obviously we'll have final shape, but maybe it's late June or early July or something for that next season. And then all of a sudden, hey, am I going to go play? It looks icy. So the Mr. Freeze saga, am I going to go play that? I don't know.
You don't know. It depends on the loop, right? I get it.
That's kind of the weird. I want to get it, play through the story, experience that. So that's going to be probably my goal on whatever Tuesday that is. Figure out what the wishes are. When I'm done with that, go experience Maya's Hellblade 2. That is true. Now, granted, that is about a 7 to 8 hour game, so that's like one good stream for me if I'm really into it, or 2. Yeah, it doesn't have to be big, but Hellblade 2 will be good. I was listening to you guys talk about Avowed. Actually, that's the
talk. The community had thoughts. They felt.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, it's like we didn't really talk about that too much because I think that was right. That was I did my charity stream, then the Microsoft thing. I watched that before we did the podcast with Jared, and we haven't really talked about that.
Mhm.
There were parts of I'm not the Obsidian guy like you are.
Yeah.
So some of it looked interesting, the perspective and stuff like that. I'm curious. I know you guys love like the dialogue and the characters, and none of that stuff was shown. Combat's not really their strong suit, it sounded like. So I mean, like they didn't put their best foot forward, it sounded like.
I would agree for anyone who was on the fence or were not interested. I don't think that
Yeah.
won the most.
I mean, I'm
would give you
gonna
that.
play it either way because I'm curious.
Yeah. Mhm.
But for me, it was Indy looked really good. I will say a little bit of the combat has me wondering on a little bit of the feel. And it was a lot
Have
of
you
the
played Wolfenstein New Order.
haven't, and I know I should.
That's the thing. And the only reason why I'm going to interrupt you is listen, for someone seeing Indy in first person, I can understand the trepidation.
Not even him in first. There were moments that I don't care about that because it was like the first third. Don't care. That's a choice.
Okay. So
and honestly, it was you or somebody else. Again, I listen to too many gaming things. I get them confused. Somebody was like, well, if you do it in third, it's just going to be compared to Uncharted all day. So the first and third and cinema. I'm like, that's fine. I don't really care.
Mhm.
It was the way the whip felt. The whip didn't feel right to me.
Really?
Yep. That was
interesting.
And as the whip is going to be like a big piece of it,
Mm.
that was the one thing. Now, I'm not saying it won't get there.
No, just right now.
That was the thing for me. The whip, like
so when he whipped the wall as a distraction, got the guy over.
It looked so cheesy to me.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the the art, the detail, the cinema. Like it looks like it's going to be a grandiose game, no question. High detail, fidelity, big like set pieces. All of that stuff's going to be there. For me, it was just like when he would like whip a dude's leg, it just looked weirdly disjointed.
Interesting.
It was just one of those little things.
The mocap when they literally they were rounding people up and dragging the actors.
I saw a little bit of that too, but it was just like there were certain things
beating up their actors.
No, I know. I saw.
Actors to get the
I'm just saying,
whipping and dragging.
My one reaction when I watched it just full speed. I haven't gone back. I haven't gone back and rewatched, but my full speed. It was like, hey, yeah, you're gonna have guns. I know Wolfenstein, they got their shooting, but it was just something about the whip. For me, it was a weird one. It's like it's gonna be.
I would highly recommend rewatch on the YouTube the 4K.
I will.
Yeah, please, because I didn't really. Because be honest, I'm on the stream with the Lords. They're talking. They're going crazy. I can't focus with King going crazy sometimes. So I highly recommend watching the 4K 60 joint on YouTube or wherever your big TV. And then see what's going on.
I got one. I'm breaking.
No,
like Black Ronin thinks I'm losing my ever-loving mind, and then Nam over here is like kind of agree. So there's like, and it's just one of those.
Fair enough. This is my first time hearing this. That's good.
Yeah, it's like it's like one of those weird little intangible things, like art level. And I will say, like, it is Troy Baker. He is still him. He did a pretty good indie though. Like to not be Harrison Ford, he did a pretty good indie. It's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yeah, it's coming supposed to be. Is that a fall or is that just 2024?
It just says 2024. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Now, granted, Avowed could get delayed if you guys in your discussion are right. So I mean,
according to Maddie,
it's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Go look it up. I mean, it looks like I enjoy because you got the puzzles and stuff. Indiana Jones, the Great. Because if there's like a 4K 60 kind of. That's the one I want.
Okay.
Let me see. Hold on. Now they released it, just the trailer. Okay, we got 4K.
Just the trailer's up. 4 million views on.
Oh no! By the way, I was talking to Blackwings in chat though. As soon as I saw the big tall guy, I was like, "That's Tony Todd, right?" And it was like, "Bro, 100% Tony Todd." I was like, and he's got that voice too. So
he's got that voice. That's Candyman from back in the day.
Oh yeah. So like when you're looking at indies. Cannot remember his name because the main one that I've ever watched, I've seen the others, but the main one I always watch is Last Crusade. That's the best.
Yes.
I can't remember his other scientist buddy, but kind of a little more nerdy. Like when we're talking about facial animations, by the way, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. And if you give me a hard time about Starfield, this is why.
Oh no, listen, bro. There's levels. There's levels.
but
There's
that's why I
levels.
was like, when I see stuff like this and the other
But
things, like,
I'll let you finish.
but that's all I can say is that's why it took away from me, because when it's so much dialogue in that game, I get it. It's volume, it's quantity, quality, and I get all that whole argument.
Yeah, it's just, again, we what you're saying is fair based on where gaming has gone right now and what you have seen in these other genres. The problem I have,
okay, here's the question.
Direct comparison. Let me finish.
Elder Scrolls 6.
The problem I have with these direct comparison is that you're talking about isolated one-off games that don't have the scope of the game you're comparing. So it's like me comparing
the only one that compares
open world, almost do anything game to a high fidelity hub, enclosed, can't interact with objects, can't do all this, and where they can concentrate and put more energy on the faces.
I will say
and all that.
Probably
That's
one of the.
all I'm saying.
One
you
of
gotta compare it to another open world game of its like.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's fair. But they got the little turn-based guys.
Oh, I know.
Right? The little turn-based.
No, I know,
guys,
I know, and I'm just saying, like, when you talk
combat.
about the scale of dialogue and facial work, that's the only one that I will say is probably like that when they put in the time. I get it. All I'm saying is, like, when I see this, I'm like, yeah, this is the, like, just keep going. Now, okay, now here's the question.
Absolutely.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Let's go.
What do you expect?
No, they got to step it up. They can't.
Okay, that's fair. This
is where I'm with you, and this is why I don't go at nobody with the avowed criticism, right? Because in my opinion, Microsoft knew what they was doing with the order of the
I heard you
placement
talk
of the
about
games.
that.
Because we saw who was 60 frames and who had their facial animations at the top is the highest level. So I'm with you. I do think this is criticism I will give Bethesda. I do think their facial animations in creation engine, or you can make the argument like, no, those are outdated. That's like old school facial animations. When you look at what we have today, one would hope that they're able to put that level in, right, to where games are now. When you look at a Horizon, and we just want an elevation in that space, provided that doesn't take away from the rest of the scope of the game. So I get it. Trust me, I get what everyone is saying. I'm never saying you guys are out of pocket. I just be careful with the different genre direct comparisons on faces, certain things.
I know.
That drives me crazy.
But that's why I say, okay, like Elder Scrolls, got to make the leap. No, what I sent you is the timestamp for like one of the whips that I saw.
All right, so let's get the timestamp for the web watcher. All right, here we go.
It's like when he's on the scaffolding.
Yep. Yeah, grab the dude up. I mean, okay, I guess I don't see what the problem is. He yoked him up and pulled him. I don't see what
he didn't like pull him. They have the Wilhelm scream in there, which is a whole thing in itself. But
interesting. It's just funny. It's just interesting to me that this is the part that
I was like, I liked a lot of what I saw. I really did. Like, I'm totally there. The set pieces, they're going into this like oasis in the desert, and I mean, just the artwork and everything.
Yeah, I'm looking.
The animations playing together, like all of that looks really, really good.
In the 2-minute mark of what you sent me, I say starting at there's a whole bunch of whip section in like 206.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. He just pulled the guy.
It's quick. I will give you this. It's very quick. It
looks just like kind of squirrely, and then and then just the animation happens. It doesn't. And again, that'd be something it's probably something that hopefully feels better than it looks to me. But again, that's just a me thing. So maybe I'm crazy if I'm the only one saying it, but it's fine.
No, Nam is with you.
I got one other, but there's not a lot. That's not a big point of discussion. I mean, but yeah, the fidelity level and everything, the likeness and stuff. Oh, I know. I'm loving it. Like that's.
And here's the thing I got to tell you. This is the part I really get to talk about, which is you've never really played a Machines game. So you don't know the Wolfenstein, the New Order. You don't know.
Apparently, I need to. So.
Bro, these are some of the greatest games. And this is why I'm not worried about this game in the least.
Oh, I heard people love, not twins and whatever, but like the two main entries, I heard people love those.
Bro, the combat, the first-person combat and first-person traversal story, everything is so tight. There are a few, like we put Bungie here, right? We know what Bungie does with FPS, right? There's only certain people of this class. It's Bungie, it's like id, and it's Machine Games. Nobody, I mean, of course, 343 because they've inherited Bungie, but you know what I'm saying? But like, no one else really comes close when it comes to FPS. So the thing about Machine Games, which kind of puts them at even a high level, is they really know how to tell great stories with their protagonists. Like they've made BJ, what's his name, last name, into a viable, heartfelt character, and it did things that you're like, yo, this game is making me feel a way. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I've heard great things about. I have faith. That's all. It was just like there was. I was like, man, this thing looks gorgeous, and then I saw the whip. I was like, it's like one of those little things that like the game looks gorgeous, the faces are good, Troy's doing a pretty damn good impression, and then it's just like. It was just like one thing's not going to stop me from playing a game, but that's one of those. It's like, and it's going to be like the first time I go to whip, how's it feel in the game? If it feels good and satisfying, cool. If it's like, if it lives up to my speculation, then I'm going to be like, maybe that's kind of literally, it's like the weirdest little thing. Yeah.
I guess my surprise about it is because it's so unique, and it's like I don't really see games doing that. So the fact that you know, that part bothered you, that you didn't connect with you, was interesting to me. Maybe that's your perspective. Is where you at with it. You need for them to play it.
It is the iconic whip. So I will say if Indiana Jones doesn't get the whip right, it is kind of a thing. So they got to get it right. That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No. Yeah, I think we're around at about 2 hours right now. Have I seen that it's getting modern audienced? I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Does he mean like the ESRB rating or something like that? What does he mean? What do you mean playing injected?
Modern
I see that it's getting modern audience. I'm actually curious about that statement. Black Roland, once Todd Lee's faces. No, Black Roland, stop being messy. Todd was on that with the good faces, so stop it. Them faces Indiana Jones was crazy. You see your man with the busted nose, Mr. Jones.
Oh no, I mean that's
here, Mr. Jones. That joint was.
Oh no, that was good. Tony Todd looks like Tony Todd. I mean, they did a really damn good indie likeness too.
Yes, and
Indie's being remade for modern audiences. I mean, we're talking about the game, The Great Circle. I don't know if they're remaking the movies or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But that's about all I got. Still playing some Palworld. Probably check out Enshrouded. Then we got Suicide Squad and Wishes next week on Tuesday. So maybe I'll do those, and then I'll jump into Suicide Squad. I don't know if you've seen Jarv out here going hard for Suicide Squad.
Oh, Jarv is outside.
Jarv got to go play the thing though. Jarv got to be. I mean, he's in UK. He got to go like be part of the play test and the early stuff. So he got to go start like. He's in that circle right now. So he's.
I love it. Love to see.
No, but he's been.
I love Jarv.
Yeah, good to see. Hard work paying off for him, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week we got things, and you got 2 games. You have how many hours of games between these 2 games? Do you think? How long does Tekken keep you occupied?
Tekken's I got to do first because I got to do the main story. Those fighting game stories can't be no more than 4 to 6 hours. I was
gonna wonder. It's like, how long do you think that goes?
Yeah, so I'll get Tekken done first just to get that out because I know once I start Infinite Wealth.
Yeah.
And the reviews, and I had a good conversation with Gene Park, and he's like, bro,
50, 60 hours or like 80, 100?
I'm probably thinking like maybe 30, 40, but I didn't actually speak to him on
I didn't know
game length. But yeah, man, I'm hearing so many good things about my game, and it's like, yo, they may have done it. They may have finally taken my niche baby into mass. You know what I mean? The world where now everybody realizes how great a game and a great a series this is. So I'm happy. You know, for Like a Dragon and basically the mini games in Hawaii alone.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much to get entrenched with, but then they're telling a heartfelt, passionate, almost, you know, some people say tearjerkers or some part stories. So I'm ready for the ride, man. I'm so proud of RGG that they're getting the shine that they deserve. Both 90 Metacritics. That's insane.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, well, now you just too many good games to play at one time.
I saw your tweet.
That'll be me in about 2 months.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be joining that pain circle soon.
Well, anything else as you wrap up? I mean, you had a hell of a week, so I don't know what you do next. Rest?
Yeah, just
you should
rest.
Sleep a little bit.
I got to play some games, bro. We got that Tekken, we got that Infinite Wealth, so I got to play.
I don't want to look over on Discord as I'm getting ready to go to bed at a reasonable hour, like even midnight, and you're over there just cooking.
I'm not responsible for what game status you see on my Discord.
Yeah,
and how long
if that little thing is green, you're still awake.
No doubt, Robert Jones. Yeah, Shenmue 2.0. I would consider Yakuza the spiritual successor and just done so much more better. And now the JRPG aspect to it, it's really taking the next level. But yeah, Can't wait. That's gonna be me on that. Probably no guest this Sunday just to kind of ease back in. We've had a lot going on. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited and just ready to play a lot of games. And what sucks is I was getting into Baldur's Gate hard, and now I gotta that's gonna be on timeout for a bit.
Oh yeah,
till I get these done, and then back to business. So we'll see.
Yeah, for me, I think I've covered it. So that's pretty much all we got. Did not think this was going to go 2+ today, but we ended up chatting a lot. So
no Flashpoint action.
Little Flashpoint style, Ebontis and Cog,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, Travis will be back. He is busy doing fun things as usual. And for all of you guys out there, thank you for listening, watching, wherever if you listen, then please just, give us a like, a thumbs up, a high rating, whatever it is to help us, climb those platforms. If you made it this far, at least, you probably checked out a while ago. But if you made it this far, please support the show. Other than that, thank you guys. Cognito, always a pleasure, sir. And thank you all for turning up for the early impromptu show. Look for it on audio platforms. And then I'm going to start posting these on the Last Word podcast actual YouTube channel. They will be posted somewhere else. So have a good one, everybody. And for this episode, it has been The Last Word.
Last Word.